doing the honors. A.J. Jenks, just named captain of the Komets right before their most recent game on Tuesday night. The two teams are at center ice. Our referee is Steven Saylor. He has the puck cradled in his hand to the linesman, Jordan Knox and Marc-Antoine Beaulieu. The Fuel will move from right to left as you envision this rink in your mind's eye for the first period. And the Komets the opposite direction from left to right. And Plouffe McKenzie in the center circle. McKenzie wins the draw back. And away we go. Haas chips it in. It's rimmed around by the Fuel to Krushelnyski. He'll skate it out of the zone. Poked right back in by Brady Shaw. Shaw shoots, and it's up and over the net. And so Fort Wayne will get an offensive zone draw 16 seconds into the game. Nice color-on-color matchup tonight. The Komets wearing their orange sweaters and the Fuel in their silver uniforms. Liam Coughlin to take the draw for the Fuel. He's in between Doherty and Kirker. It's one lineup change for the Fuel tonight. Jake Schultz is in the lineup, and Joe Sullivan is the scratch tonight as far as lineup changes from last night. Fuel win the draw. Wismerski chips it off the glass back into the Fort Wayne zone. Haas chips it up to Gallipo, and he'll send it to the neutral zone. Wismerski gets to it, and we'll send it into the Fort Wayne end. Feed up the left side. Komets try to work into Brady Shaw in the middle. Wismerski gets there first for Indy. He'll backhand it. Tried to backhand it into the Fort Wayne zone, but it was deflected into the bench, and now Sam Kirker exchanging some pleasantries over in front of the Komets bench as he got a little shove over there from Kyle Haas just as the whistle was blowing. Faceoff will be outside the Fort Wayne line. We played 41 seconds here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Alex Rauter's line is out there. Rauter in between Bobby McIntyre and Spencer Watson. And draw one by the Komets. Taylor Doherty for Fort Wayne back in his own zone. Goes D to D to Bryson Martin. They'll play it up through the neutral zone. Anthony Petrozelli hops on it in the left wing corner. Puts a sharp angle shot on Williams, who sticks it aside. Bobby McIntyre gets to the rebound. Rink-wide pass to Spencer Watson through the neutral zone. He'll dump it in. The goaltender sweeps it around, but right to Alex Rauter. Out to the left point. Keone Texera walks the line, sends one through traffic. Save made. A rebound loose in front. Bobby McIntyre trying to hop on it in the left wing corner, but the Komets gain possession. Petrozelli outlets, and here they come through center. Bryson Martin will wrap it in. Charles Williams, the Fuel goaltender, stops it behind the net and leaves for Keone Texera. Break it out. Bobby McIntyre, rink-wide pass to Josh McArdle. And it's poked off Watson's stick in the neutral zone, but McArdle, the next layer, rescues it and lobs it to neutral ice as the Fuel complete a change. Send it right back into the Fuel zone. Ross in on the forecheck for the Komets as McArdle gets to it for Indy. Pass through the neutral zone. They try to get a pass Stewart to Schmalz. Puck tied up. Krushelnyski able to knock it free into the Fort Wayne end. Tracks it down behind the net, tries to put one through the crease, and hops up over the net, bounding around in the slot. Controlled on the backhand, out to the point. Here's a shot knocked down in front. Rebound goes right back on goal. And Munson, the goaltender, hops on it. The shot from Jake Reisig at the right point. Got all the way through. And then the rebound just kind of sat there and was sent right back on goal. And Patrick Munson had to make a diving stop to cover it up. Two shots early for the Fuel in the first 2 minutes and 2 seconds of this game. Darian Plouffe out to take the draw on the right wing circle in the Fuel offensive zone. And the puck is down. A.J. Jenks wins it from Plouffe. Gallipo up the far boards trying to get it to Matthew Bowdens, but it's held in at the point by Indy. Plouffe working the right half wall. Back diagonal to shoot at the left point. Takes a slap shot. It goes wide. Haas has a poked off of his stick by Plouffe, but he's able to get it back. Go D to D to Gallipo, tries to rim it around the near boards, and the Komets able to clear it out to center. Pass ahead, looking for Bowdens, but it was a little too far for him, and Jake Reisig wins the race to the dots for an icing call. So Indy will get an offensive zone draw. We've played 2 minutes and 25 seconds of a scoreless tie. Fuel have carried much of the play so far. Liam Coughlin, Sam Kirker, Michael Doherty out there for Indy. Coughlin to take the draw on the left wing circle. Wins it to Kirker. He shovels it back to Wismerski. Left point sends one through traffic. It's blocked in front. And here come the Komets the other way. A.J. Jinks will try to dump it in. It's knocked down by the Fuel and fed up to Wismerski. At neutral ice, he'll take it back into his own zone and lob it up to Coughlin. Feed to the left side, Jack Ramsey. Plays it ahead to Doherty, and he'll send it in behind the Komets net. Munson shovels it over to Gallipo as defenseman. Makes a short outlet pass, and that allows the Komets to chop it out to center. Liam Coughlin plays it back to the D. Jack Ramsey in his own zone up the right side. Edman's diagonal feed through the neutral zone. Michael Doherty will backhand it in and go into forecheck as Kirker's able to get to it. Here's a feed to Doherty. He shoots, and a point-blank save made by Munson. Now, Doherty. High slot router to Teixeira. His shot from the left point is blocked as he hit the pile in front. Komets can't clear it out. Teixeira holds it in at the left point. Wraps it in behind the net. Goes through both corners. Indy changing out forwards behind the play. Bobby McIntyre comes off the bench, tries to keep it alive. Chip past him, but not by Router, who's able to send it through both corners. Teixeira in behind the net to Bobby McIntyre. Teixeira takes a big hit. Router looks to center for Watson. It doesn't connect. Router collects along the far boards to Watson. Turnaround shot from the right wing circle, right on. Save made, rebound loose at the crease, and Munson couldn't find it, but the Komets do, and they clear. Opportunity for Indy. Looked like Munson made the initial save, but the rebound broke through him. He couldn't find it, but unfortunately for Indy, neither could any Fuel players. We remain scoreless. Spencer Watson, a tricky shot from the right circle. Here's Bobby McIntyre backhanding one on goal, and Munson gloves it. Now McIntyre exchanging shoves with Will Petchening in the corner. Not quite sure what started that kerfluffle as McIntyre fired on goal and was going in after the rebound, and Petchening took exception to it and sent McIntyre hard into the boards after the whistle. 15:46 to go, opening period. The Fuel and Komets are scoreless. Offensive zone draw for Indy, which has all 4 shots in this game. Darian Plouffe on to take it for the Fuel. Face off in the right wing circle, offensive zone won by the Komets, but it comes in on goal. And Patrick Munson just reaches down with the glove and covers up. Just to be safe. So Plouffe back out there. Shoup and Reisig the D. Face off in the right wing circle. Again won by the Komets. Chase Stewart tracks it down behind his own net. Chips it along the near wall. Krushelnyski tries to activate but can't get it past Petrozelli. The Komets work it through center up the right side. Into the Fuel zone is Baylis. He'll send it into the left wing corner. Looking for Petrozelli. He chips it a little further along. Jake Reisig gets to it. Sends it behind his own net for Tim Shoup for Indy. The far side, Reisig chips it off the wall for Schmalz. He'll get it ahead to Krushelnyski. He tried a rink-wide pass. It was knocked free from him, but Tim Shoup keeps it alive. Shoup into the zone. Couldn't quite corral it as he was trying to stick handle into the slot, but couldn't get it past Stewart. Puck rimmed around along the near boards to Krushelnyski. Tries to send it goalward, but it was knocked away and taken away by Fort Wayne as Baylis will chip it off the wall. Far side, Shoup able to intercept and feed Plouffe. He missed stick handled at the line. Indy getting a change behind the play. Fort Wayne gains possession. Petrozelli dumps it in to the Fuel end. He'll go for a change as Jack Ramsey brings it up for the Fuel. Ramsey stick handles through 2. Right down Main Street up the right side. Here's a shot from Kirker. And a save, a huge rebound, but it came right to a guy who's wearing orange. Wismerski in his zone in. Headmans to Ramsey. Now back to Wismerski. A bit of a dangerous pass from Liam Coughlin. The Komets in forechecking. Fuel lob it through center, looking for Doherty. Pass a little too far for him. Gallipo tracks it down for the Komets. Rink-wide pass up the right side through the neutral zone. Bowden shoots, save made. A rebound loose in the slot, but poke free. Here's a shot from the high slot from Gallipo. It's deflected up and over the net and out of play. Charles Williams' first save. comes 5 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. And it was a shot with purpose, looking to get a rebound. And it did earn the Komets an offensive zone draw. Brett McKenzie in between Łyszczarczyk and Shaw. Alex Rauter on to take the draw for the Fuel. Right wing circle in the Fort Wayne offensive zone. And Rauter's going to be tossed out of the circle, so Bobby McIntyre will take the draw for Indy. 14-12 to go. First period, we are scoreless. And the Komets win the draw. Brady Shaw skates into the slot. He shoots just wide of the left post. Rebound put right through the crease. Comes over to McKenzie along the right wing boards. Feeds Shaw in the middle. Puck hops over his stick, and it's swept out of the neutral zone by the Fuel. Delayed penalty coming up on Indy. As a stick is lying on the ice, Charles Williams will touch the Komets to go to the first power play of the night. A slashing minor coming on the Fuel. And Alex Rauter is going to sit for a pair. So Fort Wayne will get the first opportunity on the power play with 13:56 to go in the first period. The Indy Fuel and Fort Wayne Komets are scoreless. We're going to go to a timeout, but none has been signaled by our timekeeper. So it looks like we're going to continue. Power play for Fort Wayne. And it's won by Darian Plouffe. And he'll send it off the boards and all the way down the ice. So third in the league, 22.5%. So feed through the from Łyszczarczyk. Held in at the right point by goes high at a pass. Goes up the curve. Fuel will change up the penalty killers. Liam Coughlin, Sam Kirker, the forwards. Brett McKenzie to take the draw for Fort Wayne. Wins it, shoveled out to the point. Walking the line is Bryson Martin. Over to the right side. Shaw's one-timer right on. And Williams makes a glove save and holds on for a whistle. 13:19 to go in the first period. 124 in the Fort Wayne power play. The Fuel on the penalty kill, 13th in the league, 83%. They were 5 for 5 last game. That stopped a streak of 4 consecutive games where they had allowed a power play goal. McKenzie against Plouffe on the draw, right wing circle in Fort Wayne's offensive zone. It's on Williams' glove side. McKenzie tries to win it toward the middle. Spiked off of his stick by Plouffe, but over to the near side for Shaw. Shaw working the right half wall. Skates into the circle. He shoots. Blocker save made. A weak side rebound. Comes over to Baylis, and he'll send it back in behind the net to McKenzie on the right half wall. He'll skate into the right circle. Shoot. Blocker save made. A rebound comes up to Baylis. Top of the left circle. Center point to Martin. Over to the top of the right circle, Shaw. He tries to put it toward the slot. It's deflected wide. McKenzie gets it back to Shaw along the right wing boards. Shaw working the half wall, takes it to the corner, surveys the box, and now brings it back out to Martin at the point. He'll send one through traffic, bounces wide to the right post. Łyszczarczyk is tied up behind the net. That allows the Komets to maintain possession. Brady Shaw has a poked off of his stick. The next layer is Bryson Martin. He stops in the right wing circle. Works it low. McKenzie scores. McKenzie just took the puck outside the post and wrapped it around Charles Williams on the stick side, and Brett McKenzie has given Fort Wayne a 1-0 lead. Time of the goal, 7:29 of Fort Wayne. After the opening draw on the power play, the Fuel cleared it once, and then the Komets sent it all the way down, and Brett McKenzie scores the first goal of the game for Fort Wayne on the power play. It's his 11th of the season, and we've got 12:31 to go in the first period, and we are taking a timeout. So we'll step aside. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey and watching on ECHL.TV.
What if a car company didn't just build better cars, but help build something more? Like community, family, futures. That's exactly what Honda is doing right here at home. We're building the award-winning Civic and CR-V and the stylish, smart Insight Hybrid. All three made it. We're Honda. Together. From your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
Now back for more Indy Fuel hockey action.
12:31 to go in the first period. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 1-0 on a power play goal by Brett McKenzie as he took it just outside the right post and just hooked it around Charles Williams. And as the goal is McKenzie from Martin and Shaw at 7:29 on the power play. Fort Wayne leading 1-0. Komets lob it out through center. Keone Teixeira has it tied up in his skates and allows Fort Wayne Keel Merasty to send it in behind the net. Coming out to the point is Gallipo. He sends one through traffic wide. Spencer Watson hops on the loose puck for Indy, but he fans on the outlet pass. On second effort, the Fuel do get it out of the zone. Fort Wayne sends it back in. They'll go for a change. The Fuel will complete one as well, as Josh McCardle, wearing the A on his chest, will bring it up. Headmans to the Fort Wayne line. Plouffe tips it in behind the Komets net. Schmalz hops on the puck, gets poked off of his stick, and lobbed back out to center where Tim Shoup will track it down. D to Reisig at his own line. Reisig indirect finds Plouffe in the Fort Wayne zone. Looks to center to Schmalz. It doesn't come all the way through. Good job of back checking by Matthew Bowdens. Puck into the right wing corner. Here's Reisig sending one on goal from along the boards, and Munson makes a glove save and holds on. 11:08 to go. Fort Wayne leading 1-0. Wynn scoring the first goal. Fort Wayne is 13-3-1. The Fuel are 2-10 when allowing the first goal this season. Fort Wayne did score first on Tuesday night against Toledo, but eventually found itself down 3-1 at the end of one in an eventual 8-4 game. Fuel win the draw. Sent back out to Wismerski. Center point. Sends one through traffic. It's deflected wide. Puck comes into the left wing corner in the Fort Wayne end. And it's chopped free to Stewart of the Komets. Chase Stewart on second effort sends one in on goal from neutral ice. Wismerski sends it along the boards. It's held in by Bowdens. Tries to send one into the slot. It's knocked down by Plouffe. Turned over to the Fuel. Ramsey will bring it through. Dumps it into the right wing corner. Looking for Krushelnyski. He turns and puts one into the slot. But Brett McKenzie, the first one there for Fort Wayne, and he'll clear it out of danger. Sent up through center looking for Łyszczarczyk. A good job by Craig Wismerski of canceling him out. The Fuel will get the puck. Coughlin to Kirker. Coming up the right side. Kirker in behind the Fort Wayne net. Pops into the left wing corner. And still working it out high. Kirker to the right wing boards. He whistles one through the slot. Comes out to the left point for Teixeira. He'll send it in behind the net. Puck couldn't be stopped along the boards by Sam Kirker. Chase Stewart gets to it, and Łyszczarczyk backhands it out of the zone. McCardle settles it down at his own line. 10:05 to go in the first period. Fort Wayne leading 1-0. Teixeira lobs it in. Bounces underneath the glove. That almost went in. It just was right of the right post. Just a lob in by Teixeira, and Munson didn't track it well. And it went right under his glove. The Fuel turnaround shot from along the goal line, saved by Munson. And the Komets gain possession, but can't get it out. Held in by McCardle. He'll fire one wide from the right point. Lively Karam off the end boards. And the Komets gain possession. However, pass doesn't connect, and Plouffe coming off the bench sends it in. Gallipo flushed out from behind his own net, will skid it up. Ed Manning looking for Petrozelli in the neutral zone. It's spiked free from him by Tim Shoup. Comes over to Jake Reisig. Beats Spencer Watson, who tips it into the Fort Wayne zone, but it's corralled there by the Komets. Jake Reisig will send it in. The Fuel tag up and pour into the zone. They try to hold it. Picks it up for Fort Wayne right on, and Williams makes the into the open. Took advantage of the power play. Brett McKenzie scoring his 11th of the year from Martin and Shaw at 7:29. A.J. Jenks against Liam Coughlin on the draw. Offensive zone face-off for Fort Wayne in the right wing circle. Tonight, the Komets win the draw. Doherty's on the watch. He's going to sit for two. Kind of behind the net. Ramsey bear hugging him, and he's going to be called for holding. And so Fort Wayne to the power play for the second time in this game. That was the key that we mentioned for the Fuel. Stay out of the box. No team in the league is better at staying out of the box than the Fuel. Yet Fort Wayne, two early power plays. The Komets have cashed in on one already. A.J. Jenks to take the draw. Fort Wayne without the services of Sean Sadlowski, who leads the league in power play points tonight. Komets win the draw. Gallipo tees up a one-timer, blocked right back into his skates and out to the neutral zone. Michael Doherty with the block. Penalty Ramsey for holding at 11:13. And here's a feed through center. A.J. Jenks is tied up, and Doherty again spikes it out of the zone. Bowdens will track it down behind his own net. And he changes up the penalty killing unit as Bowdens turns backward in his own zone. 30 seconds gone. And the Komets' second power play of the night, they're 1 for 1. Łyszczarczyk gains the line, but Bowdens was offside. So the timing of that zone entry just got messed up a little bit. And so a whistle with 1:24 to go on the power play. 8:10 in the period. Fort Wayne leading 1-0. Faceoff will be outside the fuel line. McKenzie, the goal scorer, out there as the second power play unit comes on for Fort Wayne. Darian Plouffe wins the draw from him. Sends it up to Bobby McIntyre. He'll rim it in behind the Fort Wayne net. Skating up through the neutral zone with speed are the Komets. Stephen Baylis stops in the right wing circle in the fuel end. Chips it into the right corner. Now out to Brady Shaw. High slot McKenzie. Now to Bryson Martin. Walking the line. Center point. Over to the top of the left wing circle. Here's a backdoor feed looking for Shaw, and it hopped over a stick. Back out to the right point. Martin sends one in front. McKenzie tips it in and scores. Brent McKenzie, a second power play goal of the game, and Fort Wayne has an early 2-0 lead. Bryson Martin's at the front of the line, and we'll see who gets credit for this one. It looked like McKenzie, but everybody was going out to hug Martin. McKenzie was in front. The puck was deflected on the way in. Whatever the case, Fort Wayne 2 for 2 on the power play tonight, and the Komets lead at 2-0. And we'll wait for the announcement on the goal. You will win the draw and play it into the Fort Wayne ends. Munson leaves for Taylor Doherty, his veteran defenseman. Chipped along the glass, knocked down by Bobby McIntyre. Comes out to the point, Keone Texera walks the line, sends one into the slot. And it is found by Patrick Munson, and he gets a whistle. 7:20 to go, first period. Fort Wayne with 2 power play goals, leading 2-0. And the goal has not been put up on the board yet, or it's been put up on the board, but it's not been put up on the score sheet yet. And now it has. It's the same scoring last time. McKenzie from Martin and Shaw. McKenzie's 12th of the year and 2nd of the game. So Brady Shaw making a very quick impact in this one, as he returns to their lineup against 2 assists on the power play in the first period. Fuel had the puck back in their own zone, and it was deflected up and out of play as they were trying to outlet. So Fort Wayne with an offensive zone draw. Martin took the shot from the right point, and McKenzie right on the doorstep deflected it up and over Williams. So the Fuel have a little bit of work to do. Brent McKenzie, a pair of power play goals, has given Fort Wayne a 2-0 lead. Jenks against Coughlin on the draw in the right wing circle, won by Jenks. Out of the point, Taylor Doherty sends one into the slot. It pinballs around. Jenks was looking for it, and Bryson Martin put it on goal from just inside the hash marks in the left wing circle, but a soft shot stopped by Charles Williams, and he holds on for a whistle with 7:03 to go into the first period. Jenks to take the draw against Liam Coughlin in the left wing circle. And tied up in the circle, comes out to the point. Bryson Martin will send one goalward. Positional save made by Charles Williams. And the rebound collected by Liam Coughlin for Indy. Looks to skate it out through center. Up the right wing side, Sam Kirker. Pass doesn't connect. We have a penalty coming. A slashing call. And it looks like the Fuel are headed to their first power play of the night. Fort Wayne has scored twice with the man advantage. Now it's Indy's turn. try to return the favor as Matthew Bowdens is sitting for slashing. Did not like the call as he was visibly protesting on the way to the penalty box. Time of the penalty, 13-10. Bowdens for slashing. The Fuel to the man advantage for the first time tonight. Indy is fourth in the league, 21.2 on the power play. Fort Wayne 21st in the league on the penalty kill. That's 78.9%. The Komets have allowed power play goals in 7 consecutive games. Fort Wayne wins the draw, but it's tied up in the left wing corner. The Komets do gain possession, and A.J. Jenks will send it all the way down the river. Fuel having a little bit of difficulty starting the breakout, but finally Bobby McIntyre gets the puck, brings it up the right side with speed. Brings it across the neutral zone and feeds Krushelnyski, who sends it in, but the Fuel are offside. So that rush just never seemed to have much going right from the start. And so we'll get a chance to reset with a neutral zone draw. 1:34 to go in the penalty to Bowdens. 6:23 in the first period. The Fuel looking to climb out of a 2-0 deficit. Fuel win the draw. Bobby McIntyre over to Keone Teixeira. And down by Gage Torrell. We'll go to the open. The Fuel's power play. Watson skates through the neutral zone. Gains the Fort Wayne line. Tries to skate through the slot. Pushes it into the left wing corner. Chips it out to Krushelnyski along the left half wall. Out to Teixeira. Walking the line at the point. Over to the right side, McIntyre back to Watson, now to Teixeira, center point. Looking back to Watson, skates into the right circle, look to put it into the slot, but the only guys there wearing orange sweaters is the Bobby McIntyre. Recently acquired Fort Wayne, sends it and right ahead when Teixeira across the line. So 40 seconds to go on the Fuel's power play. 5:30 in the first period. Indy trailing 2-0. A lot of hockey to be played after Fort Wayne's Brett McKenzie has scored a pair of early power play goals. Kloof. Through the comments and all the way in on Charles Williams. Half a minute to go in the power play as Reisig will start the rush from behind his own net. Across the zone line, pass across, knocked down by Baylis. And Reisig with some emergency defending sweeps it wide of Petrozelli. Rauter gains the line. DeSchmalz takes it in on goal, shoots, and Munson able to cancel him out. And then the Komets find the rebound and clear. That should do it for the rest of the power play as Reisig picks it up behind his own net with 5 seconds to go on the man advantage. He'll skate it up the right side. Rink-wide pass to Plouffe. Along the left wing boards. Gains the line. Sends it to Kirker, and he tried to shoot, but missed wide. Puck comes in behind the net, and it's collected by the Komets. Feed up to Ross. He's canceled out by Łyszczarczyk, who sends it in behind the Fort Wayne goal. The Fuel get a change behind the play. 4.5 to go first period. Komets lead 2-0. Feed up the right side. Bowdens turns around and wraps it in. And here come the Fuel. Schultz will send it in. Through both corners. Doherty coming in on the forecheck. Petchenik knocks it free from him, wraps it around, but Łyszczarczyk holds it in, tries to put a goalward, but it was knocked down by the pile in front. Komets bringing it the other way, feed into the right wing corner for Brady Shaw, who's got 2 assists tonight, pops into the left wing corner. Out of the point, here's a shot from Petchenik that goes wide. Into the far corner, Schultz tries to chop it past Martin and can't. And Schultz flattens a Komet. Here's a shot from Łyszczarczyk, and a good save made by Williams. Brady Shaw still down on the hit from Schultz. Play continues. Fuel gain the line. Here's Krushelnyski, right wing circle. Drops to Doherty. Coming down the middle. He fires just wide. Brady Shaw is skating slowly to the bench as the Komets bring it the other way. Here's a feed into the slot, broken up by Rauter. Jack Ramsey gets to it. Plays it off the boards to Spencer Watson. Gains the Fort Wayne line. Sidesteps a check. 2-on-1. Watson takes it to goal. Looks for a wraparound. Wraps it through the crease. Bobby McIntyre couldn't hop on the loose puck on the weak side. The Komets bring it the other way. 3:10 to go. Puck dumped in on Williams. He blockers it into the corner. Baylis for Fort Wayne in the right wing corner. Looks to center. It's knocked wide by Merasty. Now here's Baylis in the slot, and he scores. Stephen Baylis beats Williams on the glove side, and it's 3-0 Fort Wayne. .301 to go in the opening period. And this Fort Wayne team that has lost 8 straight, taking out its frustrations here in the first period. You could just see as soon as they got that first goal, because the Fuel really controlled the opening 3 or 4 minutes of this one. But a power play gave Fort Wayne some momentum. The Komets scored on it, and they have been a different team since then. Stephen Baylis scores his second of the year. And we're taking a timeout again. 3:01 to go in the opening period. The Fuel trailing Fort Wayne 3-0. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
All it takes to get in the holiday spirit is giving a little extra. A few more marshmallows in your cup. Or taking one to a friend for a little pick-me-up. Another carol to sing or dessert to bring. It doesn't have to be much, that's the thing. An extra decoration hung here or there, or a fun holiday scratch-off atop a gift wrapped with care. When you give a little joy, the joy you get is just as special. So get in the spirit this season by gifting holiday scratch-offs from the Hoosier Lottery. Imagine that. Must be 18 or older to play. Please gift responsibly.
Tonight's the last home game at Indiana Farmers Coliseum until the 16th, when the Florida Everblades make their first trip to Indianapolis. It's PNC Bank Kids Club Takeover Night, presented by PNC Bank. Kids run the show. Various kids and family activities throughout the evening, including Kids Eat Free. Get your tickets at IndyFuelHockey.com. You don't want to miss it as the Fuel start making their run towards the playoffs. The 16th, 7:05, Florida Everblades and Indy Fuel. Get your tickets now at IndyFuelHockey.com. The hottest thing on ice.
Now back for more Indy Fuel Hockey.
3:01 to go in the first period. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 3-0. McKenzie with a pair of goals. Stephen Baylis has just made it 3-0. Gage Torrell with the assist for Fort Wayne. And the Fuel now, a lot of work to do. They find themselves in a big hole in the opening period. Fuel win the draw at center. Liam Coughlin brings it in, but wrapped around. Bowden sidesteps a check. And it's chopped back out to center, back into the Fuel end. Will I have steam to get icing? No, won't, as Reisig wraps it around. Kirker chips it up through center, knocked down by the Komets. 2.5 to go. Puck sent in wide of Williams. Tim Shoup behind his own net. Skates past Bowden up the far side. Bowden follows Shoup all the way, and Shoup turns it over. Here's Jenks trying to put it in the middle, knocked down by the Fuel. Puck in along the near wall. Ross and Coughlin going after it. Coughlin chips it forward for Schultz. Comes free into the middle. Puck poked free. And Coughlin up the right side to Sam Kirker. Kirker tries to sweep it across the red line. He hits a leg, and here come the Komets pouring right back into the Fuel zone. Cutting in on goal is Brady Shaw. He is knocked down. Shaw trying to put it back out into the high slot to Martin. Over the far side. Here's the shot blocker save made by Williams. Now looking low is Łyszczarczyk. Now over to the far side of Łyszczarczyk. And behind the net, here's a shot from behind the goal line, save made by Williams, and now Krushelnyski gets to it the other way. Feed Schmalz up the right side, shoots, and a big save made by Munson. He left a huge rebound, but again, the Fuel couldn't get to it. Wismerski fires one on goal from center. Munson again makes the stop. Komets will lob it into the Fuel zone. 3-0 Fort Wayne, 1:19 to go in the first period. Ramsey to bring it up. Looking to find Krushelnyski. The pass doesn't connect to the Fuel ice. The puck with 1:11 to go in the opening period. The Fuel usually a pretty good first period team. +9, one of the better first period teams in the league, but find themselves in a 3-0 deficit. The first is also Fort Wayne's best period. They were +5 coming into the game in first period goal differential. Fuel win the draw. Ramsey behind his own net. Chips it off the glass, and they get it out as far as center, where Chase Stewart will lob it back in on goal. Williams leaves for his defense. Final minute of the first period as Ramsey pivots behind his own net. Outlets to Krushelnyski up the left wing wall. He'll lob it into the Fort Wayne end. The Fuel get a change. Pechenik for the Komets plays it through center. A little too far. Teixeira tracks it down for Indy. D to D to McArdle. Teixeira. Headman's up the left side into the Fort Wayne zone. For Router, it's poked off of his stick. Comes back up through the neutral zone. Petrozelli gains the fuel line. His shot blocked into the left wing corner. Petrozelli and Teixeira go behind the fuel net. Keone gets there first. Outlets to Bobby McIntyre. Rink-wide feed. Coming into the zone is Schmalz. He'll send it in behind the net. Into the left wing corner, McIntyre. Bring it out to the point for Teixeira. Over to the right side. McArdle sends one through. Traffic save made. Munson rebound loose, and Munson hops on the rebound to get a whistle, and one of the fuel players goes down after the whistle. That was Spencer Watson. Was knocked down. Trying to dig for that rebound as Oliver Gallipo send him to the ice. 10.8 seconds to go. Our first intermission guest tonight will be Alex Krushelnyski. He had his 200th ECHL point with the assist on Tim Shoup's overtime winner last night against Cincinnati. So he'll join us in our first intermission here on the ECHL TV showcase game at IndyFuelHockey.com. Puck tied up in the circle. Coughlin tries to find it, brings it out to the point. Here's a shot from Teixeira, misses wide. And Isaac finds it along the boards. He's tied up by McKenzie, and that's how the first period will end. Fort Wayne's power play sets the tone for the period as the Komets score 3 times, twice on goals by Brett McKenzie. And the Komets lead 3-0. Shots on goal 13-11 in favor of the Fuel, but all of the scoring belonging to the guys in orange tonight, as they take advantage of their opportunities. And Fort Wayne's teams historically have been very opportunistic and very good offensively. They score a lot of goals, and they've got 3 here in the opening period. We'll send it down our rink side to Scott Allen momentarily. He does not have a player with him right now, but E2-0. The scoring got started at 7:29 on the power play. Brett McKenzie takes the puck just outside the right post, hooked it around Charles Williams. McKenzie for Bryson Martin and Brady Shaw on the power play at 7:29 made it 1-0. The exact same combination made it 2-0 at 12:23. This time it was a shot from Martin from the right point, deflected past Charles Williams by McKenzie. Shaw with a second assist. McKenzie second of the game, 12th of the year from Martin and Shaw at 12:23, making it 2-0. Then at 16:59, Stephen Baylis with a shot from the slot from Gage Torrell made it 3-0, and that's where we stand after a period. The Komets 2 for 2 on the power play. The Fuel 0 for 1 with the man advantage. There will be no carryover penalties to begin the second period. This is one of 11 games in the ECHL tonight, one of 3 in the Central Division, as all of the division teams facing each other this evening. 13.5 minutes to go in the second period in Toledo. The Walleye leading Kalamazoo 3-1. Justin Buzzio has scored twice for Toledo, and Steve Alexi has also scored. Matty Acapelli has scored for the Kalamazoo Wings. Wheeling leads Cincinnati 1-0 after a period. Cam Brown has the goal for the Nailers. Elsewhere in the league, Newfoundland defeated Adirondack 3-2 on Giorgio Estefan's overtime goal. And so that's the one game that's gone final. They're late in the second in Reading. Worcester leading the Royals 2-0. 7 minutes to go in the second period. Florida leading South Carolina 1-0. Greenville ahead of Norfolk 3-1. 9 minutes to go in the second period in that one. Jacksonville and Maine are tied at 2. 11 minutes to go in the second period. Former Fuel player Terrence Wallen, a pair of goals for the Mariners. 13 minutes to go in the second period. Kansas City leads Allen 1-0. They just dropped the puck in Tulsa. They're scoreless between the Oilers and Idaho. And then one game at the top of the hour, Utah hosting Rapid City. The Rockford Ice Hogs in action tonight in Iowa to take on the Wild. And unfortunately for the Ice Hogs, they're down 2-0. In the National Hockey League tonight, just 2 games, one of them underway. The Capitals and Hurricanes scoreless after one. The Wings and Stars will drop the puck at the bottom of the hour. Want to pass along some congratulations. Former Fuel goaltender Kevin Lankinen named to the American Hockey League All-Star Game that will be played January 27th in Ontario, California. Lankinen played for the Fuel last season, now the Rockford Ice Hogs. Also, Justin Hall, former Fuel defenseman, the first Fuel player to make it to the NHL, signed a 3-year extension with the Toronto Maple Leafs this week. And Bruce Cassidy, former player and head coach of the IHL's Indianapolis Ice, named the the Atlantic Division's head coach for the National Hockey League All-Star Game. Bruce Cassidy, of course, the head coach of the Boston Bruins, the defending Eastern Conference champions. So, some congratulations to pass along. Some people who have ties to the Fuel and our great 80-plus year hockey history here in Indianapolis. Our first intermission guest is Alex Krushelnyski, alternate captain for the Fuel. He is the veteran on this team, 29 years old, from Los Angeles, graduated from Colorado College. We had a more in-depth chat with him earlier in the year on our Under the Hood podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can go back and find that. You search Indy Fuel Under the Hood. Catch all of our podcasts. We'll have another one up this week as well, featuring some of our intermission interviews from the past couple of weeks, including this one from Alex Krushelnyski. And Alex, as we mentioned, had an assist last night for his 200th ECHL point. Here is our conversation with Fuel veteran Alex Krushelnyski. We're here with Indy Fuel forward Alex Krushelnyski. A big win last night. You had the assist on the game-winning goal. It's going to describe that play and how important it was to come away with 2 points against a good team like Cincinnati.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to, chip away at the standings here, and that was a big win for us last night, in a lot of ways. I mean, it's, since the Kalamazoo game, it's just nice to, string a couple of wins together. And, I mean, that was a good game. That was a hard game. That was a hard-fought game, and, I mean, from top to bottom, and it was nice to come out on top. Not only is it good for, morale, but it's just good for everybody. So it was fun.
And then the play in overtime, obviously 3-on-3, a lot of things can happen, but was it a case where you saw that they were caught up ice and just tried to use your speed?
Yeah, actually, I was a little nervous on the back check, and then fortunately, I mean, it's just is what it is. When you get to 3-on-3, you just try to work as hard as you can. Hopefully you don't get exposed, because at that point, it's, there's so much room, and just tried to back check, got a quick stick, and that's it. It was off to the races. The bench was yelling at me, you got a second. So I took just a quick second to see where Shoop was, and the guy was kind of taking it away. So I just tried to throw it on at the end, and they were laughing at me, and they said we never seen anybody do a pass off, like they call it POP, a pass off pad, in overtime. But it was good. It all works out.
And for you, 200 points in the ECHL is a milestone point for you last night. So 200 points, 204 games in this league. What does that mean to you to be able to hit a milestone like that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My mom actually texted me about it. She said congrats, and it's just crazy. I didn't even, honestly, it's not like I, keep track or anything, and especially this year, I don't really look at the points either. I guess the later you get in your career, the less you worry about it, and they just stack up. I just don't know where it went, Yeah. so it was cool though. It's obviously it's nice to be in that category, but man, time goes by quick.
It does. It doesn't go quick when you're out of the lineup. What was it like during those 6 weeks when you were nursing an injury and trying to get back on the ice?
Yeah, it was long. To be honest with you, that was probably one of the longest injuries. That was the longest injury of my career. I've never really had any that's kept me out for 6 weeks, and it's tough. You try to just sit there and support the guys as much as you can, and I tried to spend as much time as I could here around the guys too. When you're hurt, it's easy to kind of fall off the map, and you get stuck doing rehab and skating on your own and that. But I tried to just spend around. I tried to spend as much time as I could around them, and still feel like I'm part of it, even though I wasn't playing. And you try to just support them, and it's tough. You not out there, and it's whether you're scratched or injured, I'm sure you feel that way, and it's just nice. It's I appreciate being back in the lineup, so I'll take it.
You come back Sunday, and then on Tuesday, you scored 2 quick goals against Kalamazoo. How important was that for you, coming back from injury, kind of getting back into the swing of things to get a multi-point game?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, the win was nicer. That was just a good way to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's good for confidence. The first 2 games, it's always a little bit hesitant when you come back from injury, you're just kind of testing it. But every game is getting a little bit better, and I felt better that game. So it's to me, it was like I said, it was less about the points. It was more just about just a little bit better this game, a little bit better the next game, a little bit better. And that game had felt it finally felt like I had 2 legs again. So I was just trying to work hard.
What does it mean for you to wear the A with this team and be one of the leaders?
It's awesome. I mean, it's an incredible group of guys. It's honestly probably one of my, if not the best team I've been a part of. It's just from top to bottom. We were talking about this last night. It's pretty special here. This team's got a pretty unique, group, and they got a lot of potential. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. And hopefully we can, get rolling here, rocking and rolling, and make a fun, be playing till June. I think that's the goal for everybody. So it's, we're just trying to take one day at a time.
With the captain up in Rockford right now, and Yowd's also up in Rockford, how much of the leadership role really falls on you right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I've got to admit, picking up Wiz was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's just natural. It's a natural leader. It's pretty obvious. The other guys do a good job too. Ricardo and Dots. I mean, it's nice when everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
Because they all share the responsibility. And I think when you get a little banged up, then that one the one standing, one left kind of feels a little bit more responsibility. So it's nice when everybody's healthy because everybody kind of shares it. And I think it helps. It's a bigger part, having the guys, all those older guys in. So it's like I said, they make my life easier.
You're skating with Router and Schmalz right now. How quickly are you developing chemistry with new line mates?
Yeah. I mean, they seem to have slotted in really well. They both have come in here right away and made immediate impacts. It's obvious. I mean, they've been, played here. They got good numbers. They got good, you can tell they're good players. And I think it's just a matter of like I said, everywhere you go, it's an adjustment. And part of that's being comfortable off the ice too. You got to get to know the guys you're with, and we're trying to do our best to make them welcome. And I know they're trying too. So it's just been fun.
It's 2020. What's your hockey New Year's resolution for the year?
I don't know. Shoot more. That's it. Shoot more.
Very good. Alex Kruswiniski, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's Indy Fuel forward Alex Kruswiniski. We'll be back right after this.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 32nd season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, official signage provider; A&R Sports, official hockey accessory supplier; AthleticNet, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Risk and Insurance, and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2020 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Ephesus Lighting, the preferred lighting partner of the ECHL. The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider. Geico, official auto insurance of the ECHL. Handbid, the official mobile auction app. Honig's, the official partner of the ECHL officiating team. Howie's Hockey Tape, official hockey tape and lace provider. In Glasgow, official puck provider. The Migray Group, your source for game-worn jerseys. Ticket Galaxy, official ticket resale partner. And Warrior, official on-ice equipment provider of the ECHL. Catch all the live ECHL action in high definition by logging on to ECHL.tv.
The 2020 Warrior ECHL All-Star Classic, presented by Toyota, is coming on Wednesday, January 22nd. The best players from around the ECHL will converge in Wichita to play at the Intrust Bank Arena. The Thunder will be split into 2 teams, the Hammer and the Bolts. They'll face the best players from the Eastern and Western Conferences in a 3-on-3 tournament. There will also be competitions for the fastest skater, hardest shot, and accuracy, presented by Kansas Star Casino. Don't forget about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and Fan Fest, featuring the induction of current Colorado Avalanche coach Jared Bednar. Fans will get a chance to get all the Hall of Fame inductees' autographs and meet the current ECHL ECHL All-Stars. Tickets are on sale now. Call 855-755-SEAT or buy online at selectaseat.com. The puck drops at 7:05 on Wednesday, January 22nd for the league's annual showcase. Come watch the 2020 Warrior ECHL All-Star Classic in Wichita.
Now back for more Indy Fuel Hockey.
Hey fans, be sure to check out ECHL.TV, the live streaming destination for the 2019-20 season. Catch all the latest live action from across the Premier AA Hockey League, including multi-game high-definition view and playback functionality on your PC, mobile, and OTT devices. Visit ECHL.TV today to get into the game and never miss the action. The Indy Fuel with a little bit of work to do as they are in a 3-0 hole after a period. Brett McKenzie, a pair of power play goals for Fort Wayne, and then Stephen Baylis scores late in the period to extend the Komets' lead to 3. Fort Wayne 2 for 2 on the power play, and that's really where the Komets got their momentum as Indy came into this game with a lot of momentum, having won 2 straight. Fort Wayne trying to snap an 8-game losing streak, and when you got a team that is really desperate, the start is key, and the Fuel did a good job off the start. They really controlled play for the first 5 or so minutes, and it looks like Patrick Munson might have been fighting the puck a little bit. He was leaving some big rebounds in the Fort Wayne net, but that first goal for the Komets really changed things, and Fort Wayne was able to gain momentum and take advantage of that, and they just really stepped on the gas pedal from that point forward. And they've got a very good power play, and Doug Christensen said one of the keys to the game tonight, they stay out of the penalty box, and so far the Fuel have not been able to do that, giving Fort Wayne 2 power plays, and they've cashed in twice. And so the second period will begin 5 aside. Patrick Munson will take the net to our right as the team switch ends for the second period. Charles Williams and the Fuel goal to our left. It's the period of the long change. Win leading after 1. Fort Wayne is 8-1-2, and trailing after 1, the Fuel are 2-10. And if you're Indy, though, you got to look at it and say, there's a lot of hockey to be played. Yes, you're down 3, but get 1, get momentum back, and then see what happens. The next goal is going to be really critical. Fuel will begin the second period with the Darian Plouffe line. Plouffe in between Krushelniski and Schmalz. Ramsey and Wismerski on D. Fort Wayne. McKenzie in between Łyszczarczyk and Shaw. With Haas and Gallipo on D. Stephen Saylor, our referee, has the puck cradled in his hands. It's down and away we go for the second period. Indy wins the draw, puck chip through the neutral zone, sent it right back into the neutral zone by the Komets. Haas, D to Gallipo, headmans to the Fuel line to Shaw. He'll walk the blue line, and the Indy end, take it to the right wing boards, working on Ramsey. Here's a shot from the boards. Save made by Charles Williams. Fuel working through center pass to Schmalz. He tries to go lateral for Plouffe. It's picked off by McKenzie. He'll bring it into the Fuel end and ice the puck. McKenzie was trying to self-pass, but he did it from the wrong side of the red line on this freshly laid sheet of ice. That puck's going to travel pretty easily. Fuel with an offensive zone draw. Face off the left wing circle. Router to take it against McKenzie. And it's won by the Komets. Gallipo behind his own net. Sends it around to Łyszczarczyk, and he'll chop it to the Fuel line. Yoni Tekshira tracks it down there. Ahead, McIntyre to Watson. Swept off of his stick by Haas. Watson on second effort tries to get it back. It's poked free from him by Łyszczarczyk, but back to the Fuels defense. Headman into the four-lane line. Bobby McIntyre up the right side. Drops it for Watson. He shoots and couldn't pick the top corner from the right side. McIntyre to Watson. Right circle. He fires wide. Comes back to McIntyre. He kicks it to Watson, right wing corner. Wraparound attempt by Router goes through the crease. And Teixeira activates to keep it alive. Petrozelli sweeps it from him and goes below his own net for Gallipo. Lobs it out to the neutral zone. Bounces back to the Fuel line where Josh McArdle will hop on it for Indy. Headman's through the neutral zone pass. Doesn't connect. Router will get to the puck. He'll fire from the top of the right wing circle right on. Munson makes the glove save and holds on for a whistle. 18:38 to go, second period. The Fuel trailing 3-0. After tonight, the Fuel will head to Toledo for 3 consecutive games. They'll play at 7:15 tomorrow to conclude this busy stretch of 7 games in 9 days coming out of the holiday break for the Fuel. Then it's back home, then back to Toledo for back-to-back games next weekend, Friday and Saturday at 7:15. Then it's a 3-3 for the Fuel starting the 16th. Florida on Thursday, Rapid City on Friday, and Wheeling for Blackhawks night on Saturday, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Get your tickets, of course, at IndyFuelHockey.com and the Indiana Farmers Coliseum box office. Fuel win the draw. Reisig shot from the point, stick to side by Munson. Kirker tries to hook it out into the slot, knocked down by Ross of the Komets, and he plays it out to center. Fuel center right back in behind the net. Bryson Martin up the far side to Taylor Doherty. They'll send it to the Fuel line past Michael Doherty. Indy gets the puck and sends it right back in. It's on goal, so Munson has to play it, leave it for his defense. Martin flushed out from behind the net, brings it up the near side. Pass does not connect with Bowdens, and icing is called. The Fuel with an offensive zone draw, 18:05 to go in the second period. Trailing 3-0. Taylor Doherty, a couple of new veterans on this Komets team that came from elsewhere. Doherty played for Atlanta last season. Played 177 ECHL games and 200-plus American Hockey League games. And A.J. Jenks, who has played the last several years for Toledo, winning the draw, the other newly minted veteran. Fort Wayne really turned a lot of its roster over this summer. Ben Boudreau took over as head coach. You'll have the puck in the Fort Wayne end. McIntyre tried to center for Watson. It was stick to side by the goaltender, Munson. Held in by Router along the left wing boards. He missed stick handles, taken away from him by the Komets. And Taylor Doherty will send it in. Hits a stanchion, comes right to Torrell. Back diagonal, shot from Baylis from the high slot. Goes wide. Fuel with the lively Karam off the inboards. Bobby McIntyre gains the line. Couldn't connect with Watson in the slot. McIntyre dives into the right wing corner. Try to keep it alive, but the Komets gain possession. Petrozelli can't get it past McArdle. He'll shovel it in behind the net. The goaltender waiting. He's dumped by the Fuel, and we have a whistle. His mask is off. Bobby McIntyre getting some attention now from the Komets. The linesmen step in. As Munson went out behind the net to play the puck, and McIntyre was trying to work it free from him and spun Munson around, and he went down, and the mask came off. And, of course, the goaltender's mask comes off. It's an automatic whistle because that's a safety issue. Of course, back in the day, hockey first started here in 1939, the oldest building currently used in pro hockey. Goalies didn't wear masks and didn't for nearly 30 years. Before Jacques Plante began to do it in the early 60s. And everybody was doing it not long after that, except, of course, Andy Brown, the last player to play without a mask, played for the Racers in 1977. Darian Plouffe against McKenzie in the draw, right wing circle, won by the Fuel. Out to Ramsey, right point. Over to Krushelnyski, poked off of his stick and cleared by McKenzie all the way down. This will have enough mustard for icing, and no, they wave it off. Puck rimmed around by the Fuel. Plouffe plays it out to the neutral zone, picked off by McKenzie. A rink wide pass to Łyszczarczyk. He gains the Fuel line, drops for Shaw to the left wing circle, low for Łyszczarczyk. Pops out the right side, back diagonal through the slot, poked away by the Fuel, back into the Fort Wayne end. Puck gets up on edge. Gallipo tracks it down. Pass doesn't connect with Łyszczarczyk. Picked off by the Fuel, but Indy was offside and had to turn the puck back over. Here's Łyszczarczyk in the Fuel zone. Looking to center for Shaw. He gets a sneaky shot on goal from in between the hash marks. Williams with the save. Krushelnyski pokes it up to neutral ice. Couldn't get it past Gallipo, who tips it back into the Fuel zone, and then offside is called as the Komets were still in the zone and hadn't cleared yet. 16:26 to go, second period. The Fuel trailing 3-0. A.J. Jenks to take the draw against Liam Coughlin. And there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on the right wing. Michael Doherty over there for Indy. And the Fuel win the draw. At his own line, bringing it up as Doherty. Stick handles past the check right down the middle. Poke check, but Rysick keeps it alive at the point. He shoots through traffic. Blocker save made by Munson. Merasty chips it off the glass for the Komets up to Jenks at the Fuel line. Jenks leaves. Bowdens takes it in behind the net. Doherty rams him into the boards. Puck loose behind the net, wrapped around. Here's Jenks, top of the right circle. He fires. Williams makes the save. Rebound swept down to the right point. Jenks falls down, but holds it in. To Shaq Merasty in behind the net. Bowdens. He's tied up. And that allows the Fuel to get to the puck. Pass ahead for Coughlin, deflected up and out of play. And Liam Coughlin getting the attention of Shaq Merasty. The linesmen step in. Cooler heads prevail. 15:44 to go. In the second period, the Fuel trailing 3-0. Brett McKenzie, a pair of power play goals in the first period. Stephen Baylis made it 3-0 late in the period. Gage Torrell to take the draw for Fort Wayne. Right wing circle in the Fuel end. And it's won by the Fuel back to Keone Tekshira. And he'll lob it back into the Fort Wayne end, and Munson will leave it for Chase Stewart. Bobby McIntyre in on the forecheck, flushes Stewart out from behind the net. Beats Baylis along the left wing boards through the neutral zone. Takes it down the middle. His shot deflected up and out of play. With a stick blocked by Keone Tekshira. 15:26 to go. End of the second period. Komets will have an offensive zone draw. They'll leave the Torrell line out. Torrell was in training camp with Fort Wayne. He actually started his pro career signing with the Komets out of Lake Superior State in the spring. Went to Rapid City and then was just reacquired this past week for future considerations. And quickly made an impact with the Komets. He had 2 goals and an assist in his return to Fort Wayne on Tuesday, and also has an assist on Baylis' goal tonight. Baylis wins the draw as Torrell is chased out of the circle. Back to Pechenik. He'll wrap it around through both corners. Krushelnyski chops it out to the point, held in by Petrozelli of Fort Wayne. Baylis leaves it for a teammate. Now it comes into the left wing corner for Gage Torrell. Works on Tekshira, who takes the puck. Fuel trying to work it out to center. Held in by Pechenik on second effort. It's poked free by the Fuel and out to center. Alex Krushelnyski finds it. Gains the Fort Wayne zone. Up the right side. Krushelnyski on the puck. Tied up by Stewart. Leaves it for Schmalz. Schmalz working the right wing boards. Turns. Fires high from the right point. Tekshira races over to the left wing boards to hold it in at the point. Sends it in behind the net looking for Schmalz. He'll keep it alive for Darian Blue for the right wing corner. To the point for McCardle. Cycles it back in. Comes out into the slot as they hit the linesman. And nobody can hop on it for Indy. Could have been a really fortuitous bounce. McCardle fires one in on Munson from neutral ice. And Munson gloves it down and holds for a whistle with 14:27 to go. 3-0 Komets. All of the scoring in the first period. The shots are 17-13 in favor of the Fuel. And because the shot came out from neutral ice, the face-off is going to be at neutral ice. Liam Coughlin in between Doherty and Kirker for Indy. McKenzie between Łyszczarczyk and Shaw for Fort Wayne, and McKenzie wins it. Puck chopped off the boards looking for Shaw. He'll bring it into the fuel zone. Jack Ramsey collects behind his own net for Indy. Sidesteps one forechecker. Shaw forces him back the other way. Ramsey brings it up. Sidesteps the check, gains the neutral zone with speed, gains the checkered red line. Brings it into the Fort Wayne zone and softly sends it into the left wing corner. Martin and Kirker go after it, send it a little further along. McKenzie able to spin off of a check and find some open ice. Across the zone line, across the red line, feeding Łyszczarczyk at the blue line. That pass doesn't connect. Ramsey takes it behind his own net. Łyszczarczyk will wrap it around. Coughlin tips it out to center. Rolling puck corralled by Bryson Martin into his own line for Fort Wayne. Indirect pass, finds a tape of McKenzie. He'll dump it into the left wing corner. In the fuel in, Łyszczarczyk working on Shaw. Goes D to Jack Ramsey. Ahead to Kirker. Feeds through center. Here's Doherty. Gains the line. His shot is blocked. Lands at the feet of Łyszczarczyk. He chops it over to Doherty. Centering feed for Kirker. Save made as Kirker ripped one from the low slot. Here's a shot from the left point. Another save by Munson with a pad. Fuel will keep it alive behind the net. Alex Rauter working on Haas. Haas pushes Rauter to the ice. Those two still battling. Doherty is tackled by Ross. That allows Gallipo to get the puck. Crowd wants a penalty. Gallipo chops it up to the line, held in by the Fuel. Here's a turnaround shot from Doherty. Bottom of the left wing circle. It goes wide to the left post. Puck in along the near boards, and the Fort Wayne end comes to Haas behind his own net. Schultz comes in to give him a bump as Haas wraps it around. Held in at the point by the Fuel. Coming down the left side, a centering feed from Tim Shoup hits a leg and comes out to center, and Fort Wayne will try to get a change as the Fuel re-enter. Spencer Watson gains the line. Watson to the bottom of the right circle. He shoots, save made. Rysick puts the rebound back on goal, and a positional save made by Munson. Rysick ties up his man. That allows Rauter to get to the puck. Out to Schultz. Tried to feed a Rauter. It kicked forward up to the neutral zone where Tim Shoup will collect at his own line for Indy. Feed ahead to Spencer Watson. Trying to kick it forward. Kyle Haas kicked it right back to Watson, and now Rauter will send it in. Comes through both corners to Plouffe. He'll dump it into the right wing corner. Player there is A.J. Jenks for Fort Wayne, but Plouffe bothers him. That allows the puck come to McIntyre. His centering pass for Krushelnyski picked off by Gallipo. Here come the Komets the other way. Bowden's in the fuel zone. Stops along the right wing boards. Out to the point. Looks low for Merasty. He's tied up by McCardle. Puck comes into the right wing corner. The fuel in. Teixeira trying to tie up Bowden. This puck follows four players behind the net. Teixeira and Plouffe battling there. Bowden comes out of there with the puck in the right wing corner. Bowden's along the half wall. Able to spin past a check. Tried to take it toward the middle, peeling off the boards. Plouffe poke checks him and outlets to center. Here come the Fuel the other way. McCardle across the Fort Wayne line. And the play's offside as Krushelnyski was a stride ahead. 11:29 to go in the second period. The Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 3-0. Thanks for joining us on ECHL.TV and IndyFuelHockey.com. This is the ECHL Showcase game.
Are you tired of that unreliable office printer? Is your desk covered in stacks of paper? Are you afraid of losing important business data? We can help. Braden Business Systems is the single source for all your company's office equipment, IT service, and document management needs. And we have you covered with a 97% customer satisfaction rating. The official office equipment supplier of the Indy Fuel, locally owned and operated since 1989. Visit BradenOnline.com today.
Now back for more Indy Fuel Hockey.
11:29 to go in the second period. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 3-0. The Fuel have outshot Fort Wayne 7-2 this period, but have nothing to show for it. Patrick Munson has stopped all 20 shots he has seen. Brent McKenzie, a pair of power play goals, gave Fort Wayne the lead, and Stephen Baylis extended it late in the first period. Back to action. Fuel win the draw. And neutral ice Teixeira's dump in, however, hit Anthony Petrozelli. Came back to Teixeira at his own line. Puck chopped forward, where Petronik has it for Fort Wayne. Puck's in into the Fuel zone. Josh McCardle played a big hit on Baylis. This game getting really physical. Fuel play it up through center, and McCardle saw a hit coming and make that Teixeira. He saw a hit coming and levied it. And what do we have? The Fuel iced the puck. You're watching the play behind the play, and Baylis and Coughlin are now talking to each other. Liam Coughlin will take the draw. And Fort Wayne will bring a line change. Coughlin against Brent McKenzie on the draw, and McKenzie wins it over to Łyszczarczyk. Out of the point, Bryson Martin in behind the net. McKenzie tries to pivot, puts it out into the slot for Shaw, kicks it on goal, and a pad save made by Charles Williams. Sam Kirker turns it over at his own line. Shaw to Łyszczarczyk in the slot. He fires wide of the right post. Sam Kirker in his own zone. And behind the net, Teixeira wraps it around looking for Michael Doherty. Taylor Doherty sweeps it off of his stick, but the next layer is wearing a gray sweater. Here come the Fuel the other way. McCardle tried to stick handle past Bryson Martin. Good. An indirect pass to Brady Shaw. One-on-one across the Fuel line. Stops a good check by Jack Ramsey. Separates Shaw from the puck and allows Ramsey to get to it. And Shaw was trying to spin through the check. Here's Doherty the other way. Sends one on goal. Stick save made by the goaltender Munson. Ramsey dumping back into the right wing corner. McKenzie collects behind his own net for the Komets. Over to the near side, Bryson Martin will skid it up. Centered, knocked out of the air by Jack Ramsey. Feed ahead, Bobby McIntyre gains the four-lane line, drops it for Ramsey. In the left circle, stops at the bottom of the circle. Back diagonal to Łyszczarczyk. Fakes the slap shot. Up top, Router shoots, save made, rebound to McIntyre, and another save from point-blank range by Munson. Bobby McIntyre out high. Takes it low, tried to backhand one through the slot. It was picked off by the Komets, and they were able to, on second effort, work it out to neutral ice. Jake Isaac along the far boards, knocked free from him. Here comes Ross into the Fuel zone, 1-on-3. Ross taking it to goal. Broken up there by the Fuel's defenseman, Greg Wismerski. Spencer Watson skates through neutral ice. He's tied up by Haas as he gains the Fort Wayne line. Puck comes into the corner. Wrapped around by the Komets. 9:15 to go second period. Fort Wayne leads 3-0. Haas sends it out through center. Puck in along the far boards. Haas hops on it. Centers for Jenks right down the middle. Couldn't quite corral it as he was open in the slot. Komets with possession. Puck sent in behind the net, wrapped around to Jenks along the right wing boards. He'll go further along for Merasty. He's tied up along the far boards. Merasty on the puck into the right wing corner. He goes down, and the puck shipped free from him. Here come the Fuel the other way, 2-on-2 across their own line. Pass ahead to Schmalz. He couldn't stick handle through Gallipo, who takes the puck away. Stephen Baylis across the Fuel line down the middle. He fires on goal. Williams with a glove save. The puck tumbles out of it, and then Williams corrals it and covers for a whistle with 8:33 to go. In the second period, Indy trailing 3-0. Fuel in Toledo tomorrow. The Komets also back in action tomorrow. They'll be back at home against the Kalamazoo Wings. Fuel win the draw in their own zone, but the pass rimmed around, knocked down and held in by the Komets. Anthony Petrozelli leaves it at the right point, stays on it. We have a whistle behind the play. There's a Fuel player down behind the net. Can't tell who it is as the goal is blocking our vantage point, but George Bullock Jr., the trainer, hops off the boards to take a look at the Indy player who is down. This game has been very physical. Fort Wayne is a big and physical team, and the game has continued to get a little bit more so as the period has gone on. It's Tim Shoup. He is up, although skating pretty gingerly. He'll head to the dressing room with George Bullock, the Fuel's outstanding trainer. Shoup looks like he's holding his midsection. It's Craig Wismerski and George Bullock helping him to the dressing room, which is on the opposite end of the ice from where he went down. So the Fuel will have to play, at least for the time being, with 5 defensemen. As Tim Shoup, who's been Mr. Steady for the Fuel here of late, he had the game winner last night against Cincinnati, is in the dressing room being attended to. Fuel win the draw in their own zone. Texero wrapping around, held in at the point, but knocked free. Here's a 2-on-1 for Indy, coming the other way. Here's a feed to Schultz. He fires right on, and a save made by Munson, and he holds on. As Alex Krushelnyski hooked it across to Schultz, and he ripped one, but Munson makes the save. Jake Schultz making his 6th appearance with the Fuel. He's also played a couple games with Wheeling and a couple games with Roanoke in the Southern Professional Hockey League. And he is a heavyweight. Nice thing about him, he can play both forward and deep. Coughlin wins the draw. Back onto the point, Texero shoots, blocker save made by Munson. Kirker out to the point, Texero. He'll shovel it in behind the net. McKenzie's the first one there. He's battling Coughlin. McKenzie is able to steer the puck away from Coughlin and play it up through center. Looking for Brady Shaw. Pass goes past him. He and Texero go in behind the Fuel net for it. Into the far boards. Łyszczarczyk sends it a little further forward. Texero collects the puck for the Fuel. He'll skate it up. Bothered from behind. Is able to work it out to center. As far as the Fort Wayne line, where the men in orange get to it. Bryson Martin, a rink-wide pass, indirect for Brady Shaw. Shaw cuts in around Texero, fires one through the crease. Łyszczarczyk tries to put it back on goal. His stick's knocked out of his hands, and the puck comes out through center. Pechenik will track it down for the Komets at his own line. 7:20 to go. Second period, 3-0 Komets. Doherty finishes his check on Martin before going off for a change as the Komets try to work it out of their own zone. They send it all the way down into the Fuel end, and Bowden will track it down behind the Fuel net. Pop out in the right wing corner. Wait for some reinforcements. Working on Reisig. Knocked free from him. Alex Rauter with the puck. Indirect pass to the Fort Wayne line to Spencer Watson. Into the right wing circle. He fires at a blocker save made by Munson. Watson tied up by Pechenik. Far corner. Rauter comes in to try to dig it free. As does Fort Wayne's Matthew Bowden. Comes out to the point. Here's a shot from Wismerski. Pad save made by Munson. Rebound to Rauter in the left circle. Over to Spencer Watson. Try to put it goalward from below the goal line. Watson hops back on the puck. Couldn't quite corral it as it was poked off of his stick by Ross and cleared back out into the Fuel zone by Fort Wayne. Komets going for a change as the Fuel try to lob it back into the Fort Wayne end. Bobby McIntyre was there, but it will be icing as it's kind of a tie to the icing line, but the puck came over toward Chase Stewart, and so icing is called on the Fuel. Stewart played half the season for Fort Wayne last year, then went up to Canada to play college hockey, and then returned to Fort Wayne at the end of the season, then signed with the Komets in the offseason, making a 16th appearance with them this year. A QMJHL title back in 2017 with St. John. Komets win the draw. Out to the point. Slap shot put goalward by Haas. It's blocked by the Fuel as they hit the pile in front. Jake Reisig looking to head man to the Fort Wayne line. Alex Krushelnyski will pick it up in the left wing corner. Puts it goalward. Hits the side of the net. Kloof gets to it. Out to the point. Reisig. His shot blocked right back to him and comes out to the neutral zone. Gage Torrell with the block for Fort Wayne. Puck sent through the neutral zone. Pass doesn't connect with Darian Kloof. Petrozelli sends it forward, and Jake Reisig has it for Indy. His D partner, Tim Shoup, currently is in the dressing room. Here's Torrell trying to hop on a loose puck in the slot. It comes over to the near boards. He'll wrap it in behind the net. Looking for Baylis, who has a goal tonight. Is tied up. Petrozelli comes in to try to dig it free, but it comes to Krushelnyski. Feed ahead for Schmalz, doesn't connect. Bryson Martin will lob it back into the right wing corner and the Fuel in. Puck hits a stanchion, comes to Reisig, and he's able to send it as far as the Fort Wayne zone, where Taylor Doherty will get to it. Head man to the Fuel end, and the pass comes into Charles Williams, where he'll leave it for Jack Ramsey. Ramsey poke checks. Łyszczarczyk gets to it. 2-on-1 developing for Fort Wayne. Łyszczarczyk with Shaw back to Łyszczarczyk, and he fouled one off from the right wing circle. Lively Karam off the inboards came right back to him. His shot is blocked by Coughlin. Final 5 minutes of the second period. Łyszczarczyk in the left wing circle. Leaves for McKenzie, who has 2 goals today. Now Shaw peeling off the board, scores. Brady Shaw beats Williams high glove for his 3rd point of the night and 1st goal, and Fort Wayne leads it 4-0. Good forecheck from Fort Wayne. You can see how much of a difference Brady Shaw has made. He's coming back into the lineup. Shaw scores his 12th of the year. Just peeled off the boards on the left side and then beat Williams high glove into the top corner. A good forecheck from Łyszczarczyk and McKenzie. It all started with a 2-on-1. The Fuel did a good job getting back for that one, but Shaw able to finish. And the Komets now lead at 4-0. We said that next goal was going to be big. Indy was unable to find it. Now the hole gets a little bit deeper. Spencer Watson collecting the pocket center for the Fuel as we're back to action. Poked off of his stick. From Merasty the other way for Fort Wayne. He'll lob it in. Bounces on goal. Williams will cover up and get a whistle with 4:34 to go into the second period. Fuel trailing Fort Wayne 4-0. And we're awaiting the announcement on that last goal. It's Brady Shaw's goal. I think McKenzie and Łyszczarczyk will get the assists, but we'll wait for it to be made official. And we will take a timeout. 4:34 to go in the second period. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 4-0. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
What if a car company didn't just build better cars, but helped build something more? Like community, family, futures. That's exactly what Honda is doing, right here at home. We're building the award-winning Civic and CR-V, and the stylish, smart Insight Hybrid. All 3 made in Indiana. We're Honda, and we're building something more together. From your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
Tonight's the last home game at Indiana Farmers Coliseum until the 16th, when the Florida Everblades make their first trip to Indianapolis. It's PNC Bank Kids Club Takeover Night, presented by PNC Bank. Kids run the show. Various kids and family activities throughout the evening, including Kids Eat Free. Get your tickets at IndyFuelHockey.com. You don't want to miss it as the Fuel start making their run towards the playoffs. The 16th, 7:05, Florida Everblades and Indy Fuel. Get your tickets now at IndyFuelHockey.com. The hottest thing on ice.
Now back for more Indy Fuel hockey action.
4:34 to go in the second period. Andrew Smith with you here as the Indy Fuel trail the Fort Wayne Komets 4-0. As you heard Hunter mention, the next home game for the Fuel Thursday, January 16th, 7:05 face-off against the Florida Everblades. It'll be PNC Bank Kids Club Takeover Night and then Craft Beer Night on Friday the 17th, the 7:35 face-off against Rapid City. Then Wheeling will be in here for Blackhawks Night on January 18th. We've got Dave Boland coming in. Jim Cornelison will sing the national anthem on Saturday, January 18th. Blackhawks Night, the Fuel against the Wheeling Nailers. Back to action. Komets win the offensive zone draw. Taylor Doherty sends it goalward, and it's wide. Here is a feed underneath as the puck is poked free from Matthew Bowden. The Fuel working it through center. Darian Plouffe across the Fort Wayne line. He'll fire through a screen from the right wing circle right on, but a positional save made by Patrick Munson. And he holds on, and now we have pushing and shoving after the play. Bobby McIntyre goes down. The Komets have wanted him, and Shaq Merasty gets a punch in on McIntyre after tackling him, and a couple of Fuel players try to pull Merasty off of McIntyre. We'll have some penalties out of this with 4:12 to go. And now we've got more pushing and shoving behind the net as Krushelniski and Taylor Doherty get tied up. And you had a feeling that Fort Wayne was going to take a shot at McIntyre and maybe try to settle a score with him after he got tangled up with Patrick Munson, the goaltender, earlier in the period. Merasty is headed to the penalty box. We'll see who else goes. And Alex Krushel-Niski will head to the box for Indy. See how Steven Saylor sorts this out. Bunch of gloves and sticks still sitting on the ice behind the Fort Wayne net. And right now, those are the only two in the box. Merasty for Fort Wayne, Krushel-Niski for Indy. See how this gets sorted out.
All right, we do. All right, now's the time to get loud, fuel fans. Here we go. Let's go.
So Merasty and Krushel-Niski, the two in the box. I think it's going to be 5 each if I can read the hand signals from the timers and scorers down at rink level. 4-0 Fort Wayne. Brady Shaw with a goal and 2 assists. Brett McKenzie, 2 goals and an assist for the Komets. Stephen Baylis has also scored. Fort Wayne with 3 in the first, 1 here in the second. They have 4 goals and just 16 shots. The Fuel have outshot the Komets 28-16, but no goals to show for it. Patrick Munson has stopped all 28. Still getting things sorted out. Face-off will be outside the Fort Wayne line. That last goal for the Komets, by the way, Brady Shaw is 12th of the year from McKenzie and Łyszczarczyk at 15-10. Shaw now in his 26th game has 35 points. Will move him into the top 10 in the league in scoring. And the play comes back into the Fuel zone as we're back to action. Both players got double minors for roughing. Merasty for Fort Wayne and Krushel-Niski for the Fuel. Time of those 15:48. Puck comes down to the point. Reisig over to the left point. Teixeira. He'll send it in behind the Komets net. Taken out of there by Sam Kirker. Out to the point. Jake Reisig tried to send a goalward. Deflected into the right wing corner. Deflected there by Liam Coughlin. Coughlin backhands into the right wing corner for Doherty. He'll walk the wall. Give it to Reisig. Brings it down to the bottom of the circle. Takes it behind the net. Looks to bring it out in front. And the play is broken up. And then Petruzzelli spanks the puck back to the Fuel line. 3:18 to go second period. The Fuel trailing 4-0. Head man through center, knocked down by Haas, and McKenzie will send it in on Charles Williams from neutral ice. Williams tried to leave it for Teixeira. Some miscommunication. Williams able to find the puck before it could be sent into the net. Now we've got a congregation of bodies behind the goal again. Everybody on the ice is behind the Fuel net. That became an emergency situation really quickly. Williams left it on the ice and then just lost the puck. Jake Schultz skated to the box for Indy, and he's going to get the only penalty out of this, a roughing minor. Fort Wayne to the power play for the 3rd time tonight. So Schultz at 16:55. Fort Wayne, already leading 4-0, is going to get a power play here. Komets are 2 for 2 tonight. As Williams left the puck on the ice, had miscommunication with his defenseman. One of the Komets came in and nearly poked it past Williams. He had to make an emergency save and cover up. And Schultz took exception to it and got himself a 2-minute rest. So Schultz will sit for roughing. The penalty's not on the board yet. Now it is. So we can drop the puck. Brett McKenzie, who already has 2 power play goals, is beaten on the draw. The Fuel gained possession. Feed it ahead to Michael Doherty. His shot is deflected up and into the netting. So Fuel will get an offensive zone draw, shorthanded. 2:57 to go in the second period, trailing 4-0. Coughlin, Doherty, Wismerski, and McArdle, the 4 penalty killers out there for Indy. And the puck controlled by the Komets off the draw. Bryson Martin will bring it up. Coughlin lost his stick. Actually, it was broken, so he heads over to the bench as the Komets send it into the Fuel zone, but they do so offside. So we'll have a whistle. Neutral zone draw with 2:45 to go in the second period of game 4. Wayne leads 4-0. Andy back at it tomorrow night in Toledo, and then they're back to Toledo next weekend for a pair of games. And 6 consecutive games here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum spread over the next 3 weekends. Matter of fact, in that 3-weekend stretch, they'll have 7 home games, as there's a 3-3 with a road game in the middle at the tail end of the month. Komets with possession on the power play. Gallipo back in front of his own net. 1.5 minutes to go on the power play. Fort Wayne leading 4-0. Ross brings it up the left wing side. He's poke checked, and what do we have? A slashing penalty on the Fuel, and Fort Wayne's going to have a 5-on-3 for 1:24. Josh McArdle slashed the stick out of a Komet's hand, and he'll sit for a pair. So Fort Wayne will have 1:24, a 5-on-3, already leading 4-0. So this is a chance for the Komets to really put this one away, and Ben Boudreau, sensing that, is going to take his time out. So Fort Wayne has done its damage on the power play tonight. Brett McKenzie, a pair of power play goals, assisted by Martin and Shaw. And that got the Komets started. Brady Shaw has added an even strength goal in the second period. Stephen Baylis did in the first. Shaw and McKenzie both have 3-point games. And not surprisingly, that power play unit with McKenzie will start with this 5-on-3. Coughlin, Doherty, and Wismerski out there for the Fuel. So they're going to go with 2 forwards and a defenseman on this 5-on-3. A.J. Jenks to take the draw. He has Shaw to his right and McKenzie to his left. Komets win it. Stewart over to McKenzie, back to Stewart. Over to the right point, Gallipo. Works it over to the far side, Brady Shaw. Top of the left circle, Stewart. Working it low. And getting it back is Stewart, top of the left wing circle. Tries to feed the right side, indirect off the boards to Gallipo. He'll bring it out to the right point, 2:05 to go. Gallipo fakes the slap shot, turns it over. Diving play made by Liam Coughlin, and he will head off for a change. As Sam Kirker comes on. There's the rink-wide feed as the Komets regain the zone. Brady Shaw fires wide from the right wing circle. Hopping on the rebound is McKenzie. Out to the point for Stewart, back to Gallipo. Out of Shaw along the right wing boards. Brings it out to the center point. Shaw to Gallipo, finds it in his skates in the right circle. Puts one in the slot. It's tipped up in the air. McKenzie sends it goalward to the back door. Save made by Williams. Stewart in the left circle. Centers for Shaw. He backhands it wide from the slot. And behind that, McKenzie out to Shaw. Puts one in. Front save made on Jenks by Williams. Puck loose in the slot. Stewart scores. Sam Kirker is saying he had the stick slashed out of his hands and he would have cleared the puck because the puck came right to him, but his stick is in 3 pieces, and the puck came right to Stewart, and he scored. And the Komets now lead at 5-0, and the crowd getting really restless. Jay Stewart with Fort Wayne's 3rd power play goal of the night. This one at 18:51. Stewart's 3rd of the year. Doug Christensen is at the front of the bench. He is not happy with the lack of a call there, as it was a slashing minor, a very similar play. A stick was slashed out of somebody's hands that gave Fort Wayne the 5-on-3. And the stick appeared to be slashed out of Kirker's hands, but at least that's what Kirker was complaining about. Doug Christensen doing the same, but to no avail. Fort Wayne's Jay Stewart the power play goal, and it's 5-0. So Komets win the draw. They still have 35 seconds of power play time, now a 5-on-4. Baylis ahead to Shaw. He gains the fuel line. Fort Wayne now 3 for 3 on the power play tonight. And the goal, Stewart unassisted at 18:51. Here's a feed into the middle. Łyszczarczyk shoots, save made. Rebound comes to Shaw. He shoots, save by Williams. Rebound loose in the slot. Shaw puts it up and over the bar. Final minute of the period. The Fuel clear it out to center. Bryson Martin settles it down. 10 seconds to go on the Fort Wayne power play. Baylis skates through center. Gains the Fuel line. He'll feed it along the left wing boards. Łyszczarczyk tried to send it across for Martin. He'll collect in the right wing corner. Take it in behind the net. McArdle's out of the box. We're back to 5 aside. McIntyre up through center. Now Josh McArdle up the right side. He's tied up going into the corner. Final 10 seconds of the period. McArdle battling in the corner with Łyszczarczyk. One of the Fuel players goes down. Łyszczarczyk comes out of there with the puck, and that'll do it for the period. Crowd very restless. The Fuel, their hands up in frustration, and we're going to have some penalties at the end of the period as Haas and Teixeira got tied up, skating to the bench, and it looks like Steven Saylor pointed a Haas. And so the Indy Fuel trailing 5-0 through 2 periods here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Crowd voicing its displeasure as the teams leave the ice. Fort Wayne taking advantage of 3 power plays, including a 5-on-3. Komets 3 for 4 in the power play tonight. And they had 2 more goals in the second period to take a 5-0 lead over the Indy Fuel through 2. Shots on goal in the period. Indy with 15 for a total of 28. Fort Wayne with 10 for a total of 21. But the Komets with a 5-0 lead through 2. We're going to take a break. Our second intermission show will come up right after this. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
All it takes to get in the holiday spirit is giving a little extra. A few more marshmallows in your cup. Or taking one to a friend for a little pick-me-up. Another carol to sing or dessert to bring. It doesn't have to be much, that's the thing. An extra decoration hung here or there, or a fun holiday scratch-off atop a gift wrapped with care. When you give a little joy, the joy you get is just as special. So get in the spirit this season by gifting holiday scratch-offs from the Hoosier Lottery. Imagine that. Must be 18 or older to play. Please gift responsibly.
Now back for more Indy Fuel Hockey.
Second intermission at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 5-0. And we do have some penalties at the end of the second period. Kyle Haas will be sent off for 2 minutes for roughing, and so the Fuel will begin the third period on a power play as Haas is sent off for roughing. So this will be Indy's second power play of the night, but they got a lot of work to do. They trail 5-0 to the Fort Wayne Komets. The scoring got started in the first period. The Komets with 3 in the first period. Brett McKenzie from Bryson Martin and Brady Shaw at 7:29 and 12:23, both on the power play, giving Fort Wayne a 2-0 lead. Stephen Baylis, a turnaround shot from the slot from Gage Torrell at 16:59, made it 3-0. Then in the second period, Brady Shaw from McKenzie and Łyszczarczyk at 15:10, and then Chase Stewart on a 5-on-3 unassisted at 18:51. The Fuel were protesting that one as they believe Sam Kirker had the stick slashed out of his hands right before Stewart scored. And so Stewart's goal making it 5-0. Fort Wayne 3 for 4 in the power play tonight. Indy 0 for 1. And the Komets had 2 power plays in the second period, cashed in on 1. So Fort Wayne emphatically trying to end its 8-game losing streak and prevent the Fuel from gaining ground as these two teams separated by just 2 points in the standings. Shots are 28-21 in favor of Indy, 15-10 in that period, but the goals all Fort Wayne 5-0 in favor of the Komets. Elsewhere in the ECHL tonight, through 2, Wheeling and Cincinnati are tied at 1. Cam Brown for Wheeling and Brady Vale, who returned to the Cyclones today, scoring for Cincinnati. Toledo all over Kalamazoo with 11:20 to go in the third, 6-1. Josh Kessner and Justin Buzzio, a pair of goals for the Walleye. Steve Alexi and Brandon Trook have also scored. Manny Acapelli has scored for Kalamazoo. Other games tonight in the league. Newfoundland beats Adirondack 3-2 in overtime. Worcester over Reading 3-1. That game has just gone final. Florida beats South Carolina 1-0 on Justin Auger's second period goal. Greenville over Norfolk 4-2. That game 3:45 to go in the third period. Mason Baptista, a pair of goals for the Swamp Rabbits. Maine has taken a 5-3 lead on Jacksonville. That game midway through the third. Former Fuel player Terrence Wallen with a hat trick for the Mariners. Kansas City leads Allen 3-2, 7 minutes to go in the second period. Tulsa ahead of Idaho 2-1. That game midway through the second in Tulsa, and Rapid City and Utah scoreless midway through the first. In the American Hockey League, unfortunately for the Rockford Ice Hogs, it's a similar story to the Fuel tonight as they are being shut out by the Iowa Wild 4-0. Kevin Lonkinen earlier today named an AHL All-Star, and he is in goal for the Ice Hogs tonight. He's made 10 saves on 14 shots in that game. Late in the second period, the Ice Hogs trailing 4-0. In the National Hockey League, just 2 games tonight through 2. The Caps lead the Hurricanes 2-0. Richard Panik and Evgeny Kuznetsov have scored for Washington. After 1, the Red Wings and Stars tied at 1. Dylan Larkin has scored for Detroit, and Rupe Hintz for the Dallas Stars, who are coming off that 4-2 Winter Classic victory over the Nashville Predators. A great game at the Cotton Bowl, a great atmosphere on Wednesday on New Year's Day. The Blackhawks are off tonight. They will next play Sunday at 7:30 against the Detroit Red Wings. That's the first of 4 consecutive home games for the Hawks next week at the United Center, starting 7:30 Sunday against Detroit. Then they'll play Calgary, Nashville, and Anaheim next Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So that's our spin around the hockey world here. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 5-0. And for our second intermission feature, here are the ECHL's top plays, our audio plays of the week.
From across America's premier AA hockey league, this is the ECHL Plays of the Week.
High slot, slap shot, off the glove, and in! Now for the net, he scores! Out to the blue line, score! Rodney scores! Scores! Let's rewrite the record book! It's a hat trick. He skates in over the line, digs, shoots, in the slot, shot, save, game is over!
Here with your ECHL Plays of the Week, this is voice of the Reading Royals, David Fine. The suddenly red-hot Kalamazoo Wings won a pair of games before the holiday break and returned with a whopper, a 7-3 win over the Indy Fuel. The next night against Fort Wayne, a short bench didn't matter. Another thriller for the Wings at the Wings Event Center early in overtime.
Matty Icapelli was the breakaway. He'll skate up the right wing with speed. Puts on the brakes in the offensive zone. Mike Capelli centers for Taylor. Fires. He scores! Justin Taylor with a rocket ends it early in overtime. And Kalamazoo extends their win streak to 4 games. That was quick. And it's Taylor's second overtime goal of the season, his second of the game. And Kalamazoo beats the Komets tonight 3-2.
Taylor with at least 1 goal in every game during Kalamazoo's now 5-game winning streak. And John Peterson with the call on AM 1660 The Fan. Let's buzz down south to Orlando. After recording 10 goals in each of his first 2 full seasons, Chris LeBlanc continues to fill the net. Here was a shorthanded goal for LeBlanc against Jacksonville.
And it's sealed off. Olsen backhands it up the wall, kept it at the point by Mingo, intercepted, and here comes LeBlanc. It's a shorthanded breakaway. LeBlanc's in the clear, shoots, score! Chris LeBlanc. It's a shorthanded goal, and the Solar Bears lead 3-0, 15-22 left to play in the second period. LeBlanc buries his 10th of the season.
Orlando went on for a 4-0 win over the Icemen. Jesse Leapin with the call on the Solar Bears radio network. Well, the Norfolk Admirals kicked off their 6-game road trip with a bang on Friday night. They took on the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Both teams scored a combined 7 goals through 25 minutes of play. The Admirals tied the game up at 4 in the second period, courtesy of former first-round NHL draft pick Zach Phillips.
Well, don't go running for popcorn, Admirals fans, because this is just about as entertaining as it gets. Right side, Christian Horn comes back the other way. With his head up, Christian finding Phillips. He scores! The score fest just doesn't stop. Zach Phillips, his 4th of the season, has tied this game up at 4 with 14:11 left in the second period. You gotta be kidding me.
Weston DeWitt with the call on the Admirals radio network. Both teams scored a combined 13 goals, and the Admirals skated away with an 8-5 win. Up north, the Reading Royals won on New Year's Eve over Maine, and the moment of the game came when the Royals killed off a 75-second 5-on-3. 10 seconds later, they scored. Downey has it. Royals up by 1. They just killed a 5-on-3. Into the zone. Centered shot. Score! Steven Swabley from Garrett Mitchell. It's 4-2 Royals with 7:15 to go in the second. Swabley's in his 4th full season in the Flyers organization. And a week ago, the Worcester Railers trailed the Adirondack Thunder 4-3 in regulation until Dante Salaturo found the back of the net with 1:51 to play. The Thunder and Railers headed to overtime, and providing the game winner, Salaturo again.
Railers win the draw. Murray carries him behind the net. Left ball to Almeida. Barry now skating behind the net. Almeida in front, score! Dante Salaturo! Overtime! Game winner! At 1:53, Salaturo nets the winner! And Worcester 5-4 here in Glens Falls.
Eric Lindquist with the call on 98.9 Nash Icon. Worcester improved to 3-1 in overtime this season, and Salaturo scored his 8th goal of the season. And to finish up, the Kansas City Mavericks received a game-winning goal against Cincinnati late in the contest from Mitch Holtz.
They don't, but the Cyclones retreat back to their end of the rink. Justin 5, taken away, and a score! A score! A score! A score! Oh, my! Mitch Holtz took that puck away from 5. He fires it home. 18.9 seconds to go in the third, and the Mavericks a 3-2 lead over the Cincinnati Cyclones. And
That's Bob Renison with the call. Have a wonderful and safe start to your 2020. Signing off from the Keystone State. Enjoy the ECHL hockey.
The 2020 Warrior ECHL All-Star Classic, presented by Toyota, is coming on Wednesday, January 22nd. The best players from around the ECHL will converge in Wichita to play at the Intrust Bank Arena. The Thunder will be split into 2 teams, the Hammer and the Bolts. They'll face the best players from the Eastern and Western Conferences in a 3-on-3 tournament. There will also be competitions for the fastest skater, hardest shot, and accuracy, presented by Kansas Star Casino. Don't forget about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and Fan Fest, featuring the induction of current Colorado Avalanche coach Jared Bednar. Fans will get a chance to get all the Hall of Fame inductees' autographs and meet the current ECHL All-Stars. Tickets are on sale now. Call 855-755-SEAT or buy online at selectaseat.com. the 2020 Warrior ECHL All-Star Classic in Wichita.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 32nd season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, official signage provider; A&R Sports, official hockey accessory supplier; AthleticNet, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Risk and Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2020 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Ephesus Lighting, the preferred lighting partner of the ECHL; the Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Geico, official auto insurance of the ECHL; Handbid, the official mobile auction app; Honig's, the official partner of the ECHL officiating team; Howie's Hockey Tape, official hockey tape and lace provider; in Glasgow, official puck provider; the Migray Group, your source for game-worn jerseys; Ticket Galaxy, official ticket resale partner; and Warrior, official on-ice equipment provider of the ECHL. Catch all the live ECHL action in high definition by logging on to ECHL.tv.
Now back for more Indy Fuel hockey action.
Second period here, the second intermission here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 5-0. Brett McKenzie, a pair of power play goals. Chase Stewart has also scored in the power play. Brady Shaw and Stephen Baylis have scored even strength goals for the Komets in this one. Getting closer to the start of the third period. Let's take a look back at this date in Indy hockey history. January 3rd, 1947. Tony LeCarry, a 4-point game, 2 goals and 2 assists, as the Indianapolis Capitals beat the St. Louis Flyers 7-3. On this date in 1961, the all-time leading scorer in Indianapolis hockey history, Pierre Briand, was traded to the Omaha Knights in exchange for Bev Gidgelin by the Indianapolis Chiefs. Gidgelin would later be Bobby Orr's coach in Boston. The most prolific scorer in Chiefs history, as well as the most prolific scorer in Indianapolis hockey history in his 4.5 years with the Indianapolis Chiefs. He tallied 204 goals, 181 assists. And guess what he would do in his first game after being traded? He would score the game winner for Omaha against the Chiefs in a 2-1 victory. On this date, 1980, nearly 6,000 people saw the Indianapolis Checkers tie the U.S. Olympic team 2-2 at Market Square Arena. Alex McKendry and Yvonne Vautour scored for the Checkers. Steve Kristoff scored both goals for USA, which a month later would, of course, carry out the miracle on ice. Richard Brodeur and Steve Janaszak were the goaltenders in that one. That night in 1980, as the U.S. and Canadian Olympic teams in the pre-professional era, I guess you should say, would play a schedule of games against Central Hockey League teams, one home and one away against each CHL team. Those games counted in the standings. On this date, 1981, the Quebec Nordiques loaned Michel Dion to the Indianapolis Checkers, and he played his first game since his days with the Racers. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for him. They lost 5-1 to the Tulsa Oilers. On this date, 1997, the Indianapolis Ice's Dave Chazowski had a hat trick in a 6-2 victory over the Grand Rapids Griffins. Brad Warenko also had 3 points in that game. On this date in 2003, Sean Silver blanked the Wichita Thunder 5-0, making 16 saves for the Indianapolis Ice. That's this date in Indy hockey history. One look at the birthdays from today. A couple of players of note celebrating birthdays. Mark LaForge, former Indianapolis Ice player, both in the IHL and CHL days, celebrating his 51st birthday. Also, Josh Britton, who played for the Fuel back in the 2015-16 season. He turns 30 today. Chase Neuendijk, who played a couple of games for the Fuel last year, turns 28 today. Make that 29 as he is celebrating a birthday. Also, Igars Maranovics, who played for the Indianapolis Ice back in the 2001 season. Wishing an early happy birthday tomorrow to Jamie Morris, goaltender for the Indianapolis Ice for 4 years, backstopped them to the 2000 Miron Cup championship. So wish him an early happy birthday tomorrow. So let's look back This date in Indy hockey history, the two teams are on the ice for the third period. The Fuel will have a 2-minute power play to begin the period as Fort Wayne's Kyle Haas was sent off for roughing in a skirmish at the end of the period as the two teams were heading back to the benches. So let's see what the Fuel can do here. Indy trailing 5-0 against the Fort Wayne Komets. And Michael Doherty is also in the box for Indy. See if there was another penalty. There was only one announced at the end of the period. Now, Doherty was given a misconduct late in the second period, so Doherty is out until the 8:51 mark of the third period. So that coincided with the Chase Stewart goal that gave Fort Wayne the 5-0 lead, the 5-on-3 goal. Doherty was sent off for a 10-minute misconduct, so he is in the box for Indy, but again, no manpower advantage. And the Fuel made a goaltending change as Dan Bakala is in goal for the Fuel. So he'll make his Indy debut tonight. 1-4-0, 4.26 goals against average for Mora in Sweden. Earlier this season, coming over from Europe, making his first appearance in North America since the 2012-13 season when he played 12 games for the Central Hockey League's Tulsa Oilers. Fuel on the power play with possession as Spencer Watson gains the line. Wraps it around to Alex Krushelnyski, who stops into the left point. Works past Jenks. Puck hops out of the right point. Here's a shot to goal! Spencer Watson rips one from just outside the top of the right circle. The Fuel are on the board. A power play goal for Spencer Watson. And Indy has cut the deficit to 5-1. Watson continues his hot streak, his 18th goal, 36th point of the year, and his 24th point in his last 21 games. Time of the goal, 31 seconds of the period. Spencer Watson cashes in on the power play. And the Fuel have cut the deficit to 5-1. And off the draw, the Komets ice the puck. So the Fuel now 1 for 2 on the power play. Fort Wayne 3 for 4 with the man advantage. So if you're Doug Christensen, you look at that scoreboard and you think, okay, it's 5-1. You just chunk the period up into 4-minute segments. They got a goal in the first 4 minutes. Got an issue with the clock here. So we're going to have a little bit of a delay, and now it's been fixed. The goal, Watson from Bobby McIntyre and Alex Krushelnyski. At 31 seconds. And the Fuel on the board. They trail 5-1. Puck along the far board, swept out to Brady Shaw for Fort Wayne. He'll one-handed into the zone. Craig Wismerski gets there for the Fuel. He'll wrap it around, turn it over to McKenzie behind the net. McKenzie centers to Shaw. Turnaround shot blocked wide by Wismerski. Back in front for Shaw. He misses just wide to the left. So the Fuel's Jack Ramsey gets to it. He sends it all the way down. And ices the puck. Now Jack Ramsey, a second-generation player. We talked about the Checkers playing that Miracle on Ice team in 1980 and tying them at Market Square Arena. Jack's son, Mike, was the youngest player on that team. Jack's father, Mike, was the youngest player on that team. Mike went on to play over 1,000 NHL games and then spent a number of years coaching in the NHL, most recently with the Minnesota Wild. Komets took a shot off the draw. Williams with a 6 save. The Fuel working out through center, but it's knocked right back into the Fuel zone by Oliver Gallipo, and he'll set it in behind the net. Fuel working along the boards, but picked off by Gage Torrell. His shot from the left point is deflected up and out of play. So, face off back in the Fuel zone. Fort Wayne with a 5-1 lead. Face-off will be in the left wing circle. In the Fuel defensive zone, A.J. Jenks, the newly minted Komets captain, against Darian Plouffe. Plouffe wins it back to Josh McArdle. He'll softly send it up along the right wing wall. Jenks collects at neutral ice. And the puck knocked down by Jenks, swept into the Fuel zone. Josh McArdle will pick it up for Indy. Take it behind his own net, wrap it around the near boards. Ross picks it off, tried to center for Jenks. The pass was just a hair behind him. Schmalz rakes the puck free from Jenks along the far boards, brings it out to center. Krushelnyski gains the Fort Wayne zone. Tried to go lateral for Schmalz, but he couldn't quite corral it as it was tied up in between the skates of one of the Komets, and comes all the way back to Keone Teixeira in his own zone. Teixeira across the checkered red line, across the blue line, will send it in behind the Fort Wayne net and go after it himself. Teixeira in the right wing corner. Working on McKenzie, tried to send a backhand pass into the slot. It was knocked down. McKenzie brings it the other way for Fort Wayne. Swept off of his stick by Krushelnyski, but the next player is wearing an orange sweater. Rink-wide pass to Łyszczarczyk. He gains the Fuel zone, the right point. Shaw sends it in behind the net. Comes to Łyszczarczyk behind his own goal, and the Fuel defenseman will lob it out through center. Puck sent back into the Fuel zone. Fort Wayne content to be very conservative with a lead. Here's Shaw with a takeaway from Rysick. Shaw centers. Łyszczarczyk deflects it wide. Here's the centering feed again as they tried to find Petchenig, but the Fuel break it up and send it back out to center. McKenzie at the checkered red line will fire it in. Rides a dasher and drops at the feet of Jake Rysick along the far side as the Komets make a line change. Rysick has it poked off of his stick by Shaq Merasty. And Rysick forced back behind his own net. 16:52 to go into this one. The Fuel trailing 5-1. Rysick to Schultz along the near boards in his own zone. Sends it as far as center where Petchenig takes it away for the Komets. They get a quick re-entry. Petrozelli up ahead for Merasty. His shot, stick save made by Bakala, the Fuel goaltender. Puck sent right back in front. The Fuel able to chop it out to center, and Sam Kirker sends it in behind the Fort Wayne net as the Fuel get fresh legs on the ice. Router into forecheck as the Komets able to work it free to Anthony Petrozelli at neutral ice up the right wing boards. Lobbed into the zone by Merasty. Jack Ramsey gets to it for Indy. The Fuel down a defenseman as Tim Shoup went down in the second period and has not returned. Stuck Christensen mixing and matching his D pairs. Fuel played at the Fort Wayne line, but Taylor Ross takes it there for the Komets. Quickly ahead is A.J. Jenks. Skates around McArdle. Takes it to goal, but a good sliding block by Jack Ramsey. Sends it along the near boards. Behind the net is Bowdens. Into the left wing corner. Sends it up top. And Petchenig's attempt knocked down. Comes to Ross. He's tied up by McArdle. Back out to the point for Petchenig. Left point. He sidesteps a check. Sends it in behind the Fuel goal where Jack Ramsey collects, sends it along the far wall. Watson sends it further along for Bobby McIntyre. He tracks it down to the right wing corner behind the Fort Wayne net. McIntyre takes a bump, stays on the puck, gets poked past Plouffe, however. And Haas collects for Fort Wayne. Lobs it out to neutral ice where Keone Teixeira skates on it and brings it back into the Fort Wayne net. Into the left wing circle, lobs one in on goal. And Patrick Munson gloves it and holds on for a whistle. 15:14 to go. Third period, the Fuel trailing 5-1. Fuel with an offensive zone draw. Brett McKenzie, a pair of goals and an assist. Brady Shaw, a goal and 2 assists. Both of McKenzie's goals on the power play. Chase Stewart on a 5-on-3. Stephen Baylis have also scored for Fort Wayne. Spencer Watson, a power play goal for the Fuel. Fort Wayne wins a draw in its own zone, sends it in behind the Fuel net. Jake Rysick sweeps it around the near boards, but McKenzie collects, tries to send it goalward. It's blocked into the near boards by Teixeira. Next layer is Łyszczarczyk, out to the point. Taylor Doherty will send it in behind the Fuel goal. There's Brady Shaw, sidestepping a check. Going to the far side. McKenzie shoots from along the boards, and a glove save made by Bakala, and he holds on for a whistle. And Bakala was signed on New Year's Day by the Fuel. Played his college hockey at Bemidji State. spent the last 6 seasons in Europe. He's played in Sweden, in Britain, and a number of other places as well. Komets win the draw in the fuel zone. Here's a shot right on from Stephen Baylis, and Bakula with a positional save. And he holds on for a whistle. Last year he had a 3.08 goals against average with VSV in Austria. Dan Bakula, he's 32 years old, a native of Calgary. Returning to North America for the first time since his rookie year back in 2012-13, 8 seasons ago. Face off in the left wing circle in the fuel defensive zone. Torrell is chased out, so Baylis will take it against Liam Coughlin. Puck's in on goal, a sneaky shot from Anthony Petruzzelli, and a stick save made by Bakula. Schultz will send it into the Fort Wayne in through both corners. Kirker's the first one there. Shovels it into the right wing corner, looking for Liam Coughlin. Send it back to Kirker along the right boards. Now wrap it around through both corners. Łyszczarczyk tries to get to it, but it's taken away from him. The Komets bring it the other way. Martin across the fuel line. Along the left wing circle, he shoots from along the boards. Stick save made by Bakula. The puck riding the strings in the back of the net. Petruzzelli battling for it with Schultz. Comes out of there. Does Baylis. He tried to center, knocked down by Ramsey. Petruzzelli back on the puck for Fort Wayne. In behind the fuel net. Tries to take it to goal. And Ramsey pokes it free, and then Schultz sweeps it off of his stick. Ramsey ahead for the fuel. Coughlin plays it as far as the Fort Wayne line. They send it back in, trying to catch the fuel on a change, but a pass to Petruzzelli didn't connect. And Jack Ramsey will skid it up for Indy. Head man up the near boards. Pass doesn't connect with McIntyre. Collected by the Komets. And they'll work it through center. Rink wide pass through the neutral zone, looking for Jinks. Doesn't connect. Teixeira ahead to Bobby McIntyre. He looks to center to Router. Pass right behind him in the slot. Router out to the point for McArdle. Back into the right wing corner for Alex Router. Router tries to sidestep a check from Petchenik. Next layer comes up and takes the puck away, but Bobby McIntyre takes it right back. Can't do much with it, however, as the Komets chip it back out to center. McIntyre goes back to his zone line to Keone Teixeira. And Watson will tip it into the Fort Wayne zone. 13:08 to go. 5-1 Komets. Munson, the goaltender, leaves it for Petchenik, and he'll lob it back out to center. He will play it through the neutral zone, picked off by the Komets. Here's a feed to the fuel line. As Łyszczarczyk looks to center, as McKenzie was coming off the bench. And so the Fuel get to the puck and they send it all the way down. They're announcing some scoring changes. We'll catch you up on those here in a bit as our off-ice officials have reviewed a pair of Fort Wayne goals and added some assists. 12:25 to go. Komets with the puck and a 5-1 lead as they skate it out through their own zone. Backhand feed to Brady Shaw, posted up at the Fuel line at the right point. He'll backhand it into the Fuel end. Jake Reisig behind his own net for Indy. Shaw into forecheck. Reisig head mans to Krushelnyski across the checkered red line. Feeds Plouffe up the left side. Gains the Fort Wayne zone. Tried to drop it for Schmalz. It's tipped past him. Łyszczarczyk fires from the point wide. Held in. McArdle. Now to Krushelnyski. It's poked off of his stick as he was trying to take it to the right wing circle, and the Komets work it out to center. Stephen Baylis at his own line. Will send it back for the D and be lobbed into the Fuel end. Bakula will let it sit for Wismerski. Go D to D to Jake Reisig. Reisig to skate it up the far side. Pass doesn't connect. This will go for icing with 11:36 to go. In period number 3, the Fuel trailing 5-1. And so Fort Wayne's third goal was scored by Stephen Baylis late in the first period, assisted by Gage Torrell. They've added an assist to Shaq Merasty. And then Fort Wayne's fifth goal was originally announced as Chase Stewart unassisted. They have now given assist to Brady Shaw and Brett McKenzie, so now those guys each with 4-point nights. Shaw with a goal and 3 assists, McKenzie with 2 goals and 2 assists. And the Komets leading at 5-1. 11:36 to go. Offensive zone draw for Fort Wayne. Puck comes out to the point. Martin sends it on goal. Bakula with a positional save on Martin's wrist shot, and he holds on for a whistle. 11:31 to go. And we have a timeout on the ice. We'll take a break. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey and watching the ECHL TV Showcase game.
All it takes to get in the holiday spirit is giving a little extra. A few more marshmallows in your cup, or taking one to a friend for a little pick-me-up. Another carol to sing, or dessert to bring. It doesn't have to be much, that's the thing. An extra decoration hung here or there, or a fun holiday scratch-off atop a gift wrapped with care. When you give a little joy, the joy you get is just as special. So get in the spirit this season by gifting holiday scratch-offs from the Hoosier Lottery. Imagine that. Must be 18 or older to play. Please gift responsibly.
Now back for more Indy Fuel Hockey.
11:31 to go in the third period. The Indy Fuel trailing the Fort Wayne Komets 5-1. Spencer Watson scored on the power play to start the third for the Fuel 31 seconds in, but it's been a night for Brett McKenzie and Brady Shaw. They each have 4 points. McKenzie a pair of power play goals and 2 assists. Shaw with a goal and 3 assists in his return to the ECHL. After spending the last 3 weeks with the Cleveland Monsters of the American Hockey League. He's an elite player in this league, and you can see why. Shaw now 36 points, and that's 2 consecutive 4-point games for him. His last game before being called up to the AHL, he had 2 goals and 2 assists against the Idaho Steelheads. Komets play it back into the Fuel zone. Jack Ramsey will wrap it around behind his own net for Keone Texera. 11:12 to go. Texera lobs it to the Fort Wayne line. Bryson Martin being bothered by Kirker, but Taylor Doherty gets the puck for Fort Wayne. And he backhanded it into his own bench. Dylan Ferguson, the backup goalie. And Kelly Wickman, the photographer, who sits in the Pierre McGuire box in between the benches, both scurrying for cover. Shots are 7-2 Fort Wayne this period, 30-28 for the Fuel in the game. As Fort Wayne has just played a very conservative game and kind of kept the play in front of them and taken the chances as they have presented themselves. And with Dan Bacala playing his first game on North American ice in 7 years, they're firing at all angles from him. A lot of long-range shots and forcing Bacala to make saves. Komets win the draw on their own. Send it in behind the Fuel net. Bacala leaves it. Now we've got pushing and shoving behind the play. Alex Rauter is pinned along the boards with Matthew Bowdens. Those two just happen to be in between the penalty boxes, so they won't have to skate very far to find their spot where they'll watch the next couple of minutes of this one. And we'll see if any additional minors get handed down by Steven Saylor. As those two got tied up. This game's been pretty chippy. Fort Wayne, not a stranger to the rough stuff. They lead the league with 25 major penalties on the season. They're 4th in the league in penalty minutes. The Fuel, 25th in the league in PIMS. And we're going to skate 4 aside for 2 minutes. So Rauter and Bowdens, we're going to assume matching roughing minors until they're announced. And so it's 4-on-4. Indy has generally been pretty good in these situations. Jaker Isaac brings it up, but it's swept off of his stick by Brett McKenzie. And bringing it the other way, Brady Shaw into the Fuel zone, gains the line offside. Now the linesman hopping in again. 5-1 Fort Wayne, a minute 43 to go in the matching minors, 10:37 in the third period. After tonight, the Fuel conclude their 7 games in 9 days stretch in Toledo tomorrow, 7:15 face-off. Toledo are red hot. They beat Fort Wayne 8-4 on Tuesday. And the Walleye have been all over Kalamazoo tonight. That game has gone final, Toledo winning 6-2. And Indy will be back in Toledo next weekend for a pair of games. The Komets work it through center. The penalties, matching minors for roughing, Bowdens and Rauter. And so we're skating 4 aside for the next minute 24. Fuel with the puck behind their own net. Jack Ramsey Skating it up, side steps to check at his own line. Drops it for Spencer Watson. Watson gains the four-lane line into the right wing circle. Has it poked off of his stick. And the Komets bringing it the other way. The Fuel out there with three forwards and a defenseman. Here's Łyszczarczyk in the Fuel zone. Side steps to check. Takes it behind the net. He is stapled into the glass by Craig Łyszczarczyk. The puck just sits there. Łyszczarczyk is able to get it free and send it over to Ramsey. Baylis comes in to tie up Ramsey. Those two fight for the puck along the boards and finally comes free to Spencer Watson. 43 seconds to go on the Matching Miners, 9:35 in the hockey game. Feed ahead to Krushelnyski. Up the right side, pass knocked down out of the air by the Komets. Krushelnyski collects along the near boards, make that Keone Teixeira. And he'll send it back to his D. Sam Kirker to skate it up. Kirker brings it across the four-lane line up the right side. He takes a big hit from Chase Stewart. And that separates him from the puck and allows the Komets to gain possession. Stephen Baylis through center. 14 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. Baylis top of the left circle right on as he fires a wrist shot back low with the save. He'll gobble it up and get a whistle. With 9:04 to go in the third period, 10 seconds in the 4-on-4 situation. The Komets leading the Fuel 5-1. Patrick Munson has been very good in the Fort Wayne net. He's made 29 saves. Charles Williams made 17 saves on 21 shots for the Fuel. Dan Bakula has stopped all 9 he has faced here in the, I think that all 8 he has faced here in the third period. Komets control off the draw. Ross looking for a tip from Torrell, but the deflection goes wide. And both Bowdens and Router are out of the box. We're back to 5 aside. Indirect pass through the neutral zone. Finds Alex Router. Router tried to put one on goal. Blocked right back into his skates, and the Komets chipping back out to center. Teixeira D to D. Ryzik ahead, and the puck brought into the zone. Here's taking it on goal, firing a backhand is Schmalz. A blocker save made by Munson. Delayed penalty coming up on Fort Wayne. Bakula's off the extra attacker, and the Komets get the touch. It's the Fuel to the power play for the third time tonight with 8:22 to go. The end of the hockey game. As a hooking minor is whistled on to the Komets. Taylor Ross. Time of the penalty, 11:38. Ross for hooking. And so Indy to the power play for the third time tonight. The Fuel are 1 for 2. Spencer Watson, one of the league's top power play scorers, his 7th power play goal of the season. Liam Coughlin's tossed out of the circle, so Alex Krushelnyski will take the initial face-off. Bobby McIntyre, the other forward out there. And now we've got a false start again. And the Komets win the draw, can't get it out. Teixeira holds it in at the left point. Sent around to Spencer Watson along the right wing boards. Watson drops it for Teixeira, right point. Over to the left point. Krushelnyski skates in, hooks it over to Watson, right circle, slap shot, right on score! Spencer Watson, his 2nd power play goal of the night, and the Fuel are within 3. It's 5-2. The Fuel taking advantage of the power play. Spencer Watson, his 2nd power play goal of the night, is the Fuel. Worked it to the left side. Alex Krushelnyski got it past the top defender. Sent it across the seam to Watson, and he just fired a slap shot from the top of the right wing circle. Watson's 2nd of the year, or 2nd of the game, excuse me, his 19th of the year. And the Fuel now trail at 5-2. So Krushelnyski extends his point streak as well, as he had the primary assist on that one. We'll get the official scoring in a minute when it's announced. Łyszczarczyk behind the Fuel net as we're back to action. Pops out in front, shoots, it's deflected up and over the goal. McKenzie in behind the goal for Shaw. Shaw in the right wing circle, centers for Łyszczarczyk, and a great save made by Bakula as Łyszczarczyk had it from the blue paint. Bakula was able to hold the fort as Łyszczarczyk was looking 5-hole. Fuel with possession in their own zone, down 3. Here's Wismerski at his own line, gains a check on the red line, and rips one in on goal. from the neutral zone. Here's a shot right on, and again, Munson with the save for Fort Wayne. Puck in along the near boards, and it's collected by the Fuel. Spencer Watson, lateral pass, knocked down and sent back out to neutral ice by Baylis of Fort Wayne. Watson back on it. Gains the line, fires from the right circle, save made. Router with the rebound, can't quite corral it. Tried to center, it's knocked down by the Komets, and Baylis brings it out to center. Chops it ahead to Gage Torrell. He'll send it into the left wing corner in the Fuel zone. Swept past him by Teixeira. 6:38 to go. Fuel trailing 5-2. Here's a feed to Sam Kirker across the Fort Wayne line. He fires from a sharp angle. Munson with a glove save, and he holds on for a whistle. With 6:31 to go. Watson with 2 goals tonight, both on the power play. Watson from McIntyre and Krushelnyski at 31 seconds. And Watson from Krushelnyski and Teixeira at 11:54. Big crowd tonight, 57-64 at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Watson now has 2 goals, 19 goals, 37 points on the season. Now 25 points, 12 goals in his last 21 games. With 8 power play goals and 16 points, he has now taken the ECHL. Here's the other way. Ross takes it in on a partial breakaway, and Bakula with a pad save as Ross tried to deke it past him. Quickly developing play. Ross got a step on Łyszczarczyk and gained the line. Here's the Fuel the other way. Kirker puts it on goal from the slot as he got loose in between the hash marks, and Munson made the save and holds on. So chances on both ends. Ross tried to take it to the backhand and slip it behind Bakula, but the Fuel goaltender made a save, and on the other end, the Fuel fed Sam Kirker in between the hash marks, and he ripped one, but Patrick Munson able to hold on to that one. Golden opportunity for Indy. Gained a little bit of momentum since Watson's second goal. The Fuel trailing at 5-2 with 6:08 to go. Router line out there in between McIntyre and Watson for this offensive zone draw. And Router's going to be tossed from the circle as he false starts. So Bobby Mack will take it against McKenzie for Fort Wayne. Puck tied up in the circle, taken out of there by Brady Shaw. At the left side, Łyszczarczyk trying to play it forward, but it's knocked down by the Fuel and taken away. Watson, head man's for Bobby McIntyre. He'll track it down behind the Fort Wayne net. Puts one off the strings, hops on the puck in the right wing corner. McIntyre looking to center. It's deflected back out to the left point. Reisig will skate in. Shoot! Deflected wide as he hit the pile in front. Watson was looking for a tip. Łyszczarczyk, one of the top rookie scorers in the league, and wraps it around to Brady Shaw, one of the top scorers in the league. And he'll send it through center. Łyszczarczyk backhands it into the Fuel zone, goes for a change with 5:30 to go in the third period. Petrozelli's line is out there as the Fuel skate through. Reisig fires, deflected through the slot. Nobody home. Sent into the right wing corner. Jake Reisig, the defenseman, forward to the goal line. Challenges Haas. Puck comes free into the slot, knocked down by the Komets. They get it out as far as center, sent it right back in by Łyszczarczyk as the puck heads behind the Fort Wayne goal. 5:05 to go. The Komets with a 3-goal lead. Here in the third period at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Puck chipped through center, and it'll lobbed into the Fuel zone. Gage Torrell, tied up by McCardle. Those two go into the right wing corner, and the Fuel ends. Baylis takes it out for Fort Wayne. He's battling Łyszczarczyk. Kloof comes in trying to dig the puck free. And it comes out to the slot where Torrell chopped it toward goal. And Bakula, I don't think was expecting it. It was going wide, but Bakula reaches out with a stick and corrals the puck and covers up for a whistle. 4:37 to go. After 3 straight games in Toledo beginning tomorrow night, the Fuel will have 3 consecutive home games the following weekend. We'll tell you about it right after this. 5-2 Fort Wayne, 4:37 to go in the third period. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
What if a car company didn't just build better cars, but helped build something more? Like community, family, futures. That's exactly what Honda is doing, right here at home. We're building the award-winning Civic and CR-V, and the stylish, smart Insight Hybrid. All 3 made in Indiana. We're Honda, and we're building something more together. from your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
Tonight's the last home game at Indiana Farmers Coliseum until the 16th, when the Florida Everblades make their first trip to Indianapolis. It's PNC Bank Kids Club Takeover Night, presented by PNC Bank. Kids run the show. Various kids and family activities throughout the evening, including Kids Eat Free. Get your tickets at IndyFuelHockey.com. You don't want to miss it as the Fuel start making their run towards the playoffs. The 16th, 7:05, Florida Everblades and Indy Fuel. Get your tickets now at IndyFuelHockey.com. The hottest thing on ice.
Now back for more Indy Fuel hockey action.
4:37 to go in the third period. The Indy Fuel trail the Fort Wayne Komets 5-2. Offensive zone draw for Fort Wayne. Komets built a 5-0 lead on the strength of 3 power play goals, 2 by Brett McKenzie. He and Brady Shaw both have 4-point games. Spencer Watson has scored twice in the power play here in the third for the Fuel. Michael Doherty has been released from his misconduct. He sends it in to the Fort Wayne end, but the Komets wrapping it right back out. Teixeira will head down and get an icing whistle as the Komets rim around just went all the way around the boards behind the Fuel net. So 4:19 left. Shots are 35-31 Indy, but unfortunately the goals from the Fuel perspective, 5-2 in favor of Fort Wayne. We mentioned 3 home games in 2 weeks. Offensive zone draw for the Fuel, won by the Komets. They chip it out to the point, held in by Teixeira. He'll send it along the wall, but it's kicked out to neutralized by Petchinen, and Fuel sent it right back in. Chase Stewart takes a bump from Router, but stays on the puck. Rims it around to Ross, and he'll lob it out through the neutral zone all the way down. This touched nobody, so it'll go for icing with 3:58 to go. PNC Bank Kids Club Takeover Night on Thursday, January 16th, the 7:05 face-off, as the Florida Everblades make their first appearance at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum since the Fuel's first season back in 2014-15. Then on Friday the 17th, Craft Beer Night against Rapid City, 7:35 face-off. Saturday the 18th, the Fuel will take on the Wheeling Nailers, a 6:05 face-off. That's Blackhawks night. Jim Cornelius will be here. Dave Bolland will be here. We hope you will, too. You can get your tickets at all Ticketmaster outlets and the Indiana Farmers Coliseum box office. This will be the first 3 of 6 consecutive home games for the Fuel to wrap up the month of January. All starting in 2 weeks. Puck in the Fort Wayne end. The Komets chop it forward. Reisig holds it in. We have a penalty coming. A hooking minor on the Fuel, and so Fort Wayne will go to the power play for the 5th time tonight with 3:34 to go. Liam Coughlin will sit for hooking. Fort Wayne 3 for 4 on the power play tonight. You can see why they're ranked 3rd in the league with the man advantage coming in. They'll up that 22.5 percentage this evening. Fuel 2 for 3. Indy had struggled a little bit on the power play, so if there's one real positive you want to take out of tonight, the Fuel had just 2 power play goals in their last 5 games. They've got 2 in this period, both by Spencer Watson. So that's something to build off of going into Toledo tomorrow. Komets win the draw. Stephen Baylis along the far boards. Back out to the point for Chase Stewart. Over the top of the right circle, Brady Shaw, who's got 4 points tonight, sends one goalward wide. Here's a shot from the left circle by Baylis from a sharp angle, and Bacala holds the fort, makes the save with a blocker, and then covers up to get a whistle with 3:16 to go. In the third period, 1:43, and the penalty to Liam Coughlin. Brett McKenzie, who has 2 power play goals tonight, he also has 2 assists. Wins the draw. Back to the point. Stewart walking the line. Leads it over to the left side. Here's a shot from Baylis wide. Shaw hops on the rebound. McArdle's able to sweep it past him. Those 2 go into the right wing corner for it. Comes free along the boards. Back out to the point for Stewart. And he can't hold it in as the puck hopped over his stick, and then Stewart tried to bring it back in, but it came out of the zone first. And so we'll have a whistle And a face-off just outside the fuel line with 3:01 to go in the hockey game. Kirker, Smalls, the penalty-killing forwards, Łyszczarczyk and McArdle the D. 3:01 to go. Fuel trailing 5-2. We talked with Doug Christensen before the game about how important special teams would be, and the Komets 3 for 4 in the power play. The Fuel are 2 for 3. Difference as well, 2 even-strength goals by Fort Wayne. This puck kicked through the slot, comes all the way through to Ross, bottom of the left circle. He has to peel back out to the point. Galipo sends it forward. Blocker save, Bakula rebound, comes all the way out to the point. Łyszczarczyk back out to Galipo, sends one through. Traffic save made. Jenks finding the rebound, but tried to hook it back through the slot, broken up by the Fuel, and kicked out into the neutral zone by Matt Smalls. 2:20 to go in the game, 47 seconds in Fort Wayne's 5th power play of the night. They gain the zone. Up the left side is Ross, working on Łyszczarczyk along the boards. Comes free to Łyszczarczyk, peels off the boards into the left circle, into the slot, shot save made by Bakula from point-blank range, and the Fuel clear it as far as center, where Galipo knocks it down. Indy changing out the penalty-killing unit with 27 seconds to go on the Fort Wayne power play. Doherty takes it away for the Fuel. Doherty into the left wing corner, shorthanded, in behind the Fort Wayne net. Pops out the far side. Galipo pokes it free from him to Łyszczarczyk, and the Komets will bring it through center. It's a shot a little high from center ice from Stewart, and Bakula gets the puck and clears it all the way down himself. That should do it for the Komets power play. 93 seconds to go in the hockey game. However, Fort Wayne with possession. As Coughlin's out of the box, he'll collect the puck in his own end. Go across to Teixeira and send it forward. Alex Rauter will backhand it in. Coughlin giving chase behind the Fort Wayne net, working on Stewart. Over to Schultz, he'll pop it in behind the goal. Petchenig takes it there for Fort Wayne. 1:10 to go. 5-2 Komets. Petrozelli up the left side. McKenzie shoots, looking for the hat trick. He misses high. Long carom off the inboards. Smalls brings it into the Fort Wayne zone. Haas collects there. Sends it as far as the fuel line and actually goes all the way down. Was touched by nobody, so icing on Fort Wayne with 52 seconds left. Tough one for the Fuel tonight. They'll fall to 1-2 against Fort Wayne. And they'll fall 4 points back in the Komets, who are in third place. And Wheeling has knocked off Cincinnati 2-1, so the Fuel will be 3 points back in the Nailers as well. They'll remain 6 points clear of sixth place Kalamazoo. Komets win the draw in their own zone, send it out to center. Anthony Petrozelli through the neutral zone, 1-on-3. His shot is blocked. And here's a big hit on Haas as he sends it in behind the Fuel net. 35 seconds to go in this one. Isaac skating it up. The far side, puck knocked free. Shaq Merasty will send it into the Fuel zone where it's collected by Keone Teixeira. Headman's through the neutral zone, tipped into the Fort Wayne end. Haas takes it behind his own net. Smalls forces him free from behind the goal. 20 seconds to go in the game. Puck rimmed in, actually just sent in on goal. It looks like they're going to rim it in. Got a big hit behind the play. Players untangle as the Fuel bring it up. Final 10 seconds. Doherty across the Fort Wayne line takes one final shot on the goaltender. Munson, he'll fire it out of his glove into the corner. And here's a feed. Teixeira misses just wide as the horn sounds. And the Fort Wayne Komets skate away with a 5-2 victory over the Indy Fuel tonight. The Komets snap an 8-game losing streak as they pour off the bench to congratulate their goaltender, Patrick Munson, who had a very good game tonight, making 34 saves. The Fuel falling to the Fort Wayne Komets tonight, 5-2. Shots in the third period. Fort Wayne with 14 for a total of 35. Indy with 8 for a total of 36. But unfortunately for the Fuel, it's the Fort Wayne Komets getting away with a 5-2 victory. Going to take a break, put a bow on this one right after this. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.